Hello, everyone! Competitors, warriors of all ages, races, species, all across the known universe. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Channel Chasers Podcast. I am, of course, your host, Jay, and joining me as always are my two friends, Brian and Tony. How you doing tonight, fellas?
Pretty good.
Ready to rumble.
So tonight we will be talking about a movie that was so good that it could not be deleted from the schedule, because we were initially going to do this when we were going to record last week, but I believe last week it was like, I think either Brian was sick, somebody was sick, and we had to skip. I don't remember.
Well, it was also Father's Day.
Oh, it was Father's Day. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to all the dads out there.
Also, you had a family commitment.
Oh, right. The actual recording day was a Saturday, because we record these on Saturdays, and my cousin graduated high school that weekend. Shout out to Ty and all the other graduates out there, because I know it is graduation season as of the recording of this video. So congrats to all of you. But yeah, so we normally would just push it back a day and record then, but then it's like, oh shit, it's Father's Day. My bad. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, okay, I guess we'll do this next week. So here we are. And what will we be talking about, you may ask? Well, if the intro didn't give it away just yet, we are going to be talking about the Hulu anthology animated film Predator, Killer of Killers, directed by Trachtenberg. I don't remember his first name.
Dan
Trachtenberg.
Dan.
I was gonna say Michelle Trachtenberg, but I was like, that's not Michelle Trachtenberg. Rest in peace.
No, but the man who is single-handedly revitalizing the
Predator franchise, like outside of comics, because comics-wise, It's Ben Percy doing all that shit.
Yeah, like he's done this film, and next he's doing the new live-action Predator.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The one that's set in the future.
Ah, yeah, true. I forgot about that. But yeah, this was really fun, man. This is going to be a really interesting one structure-wise, because it's 3 vignettes, but it does have a overarching story, which we'll get into more in the spoiler territory. But so as per usual, we can't start off an episode without first jumping right into the news with Brian. Take it away, Brian.
All right, so we do have one in memoriam. It's not something it's someone from not a usual field that we cover here, but still felt like deserved a spotlight. RIP to Food Network host Anne Burrell.
What did she do? I don't recognize the name.
Short, bleached like white-ish hair.
Uh-huh.
And she did a lot of stuff, but I think her most famous stuff is Worst Cooks in America.
Oh, I think I'm familiar.
I've heard about that. The girlfriend has shown me a couple clips of that. And sweet mother of Moses, some of these individuals are just bad.
And she had to have like extreme patience with dealing with some of these people. Like it was bad. Like they were heating up plastic, cutting things with the knife guard still on, shit like that.
Cutting butter with basically a grater of some kind.
That's fucking weird. Okay.
And also getting terminology for cooking wrong and putting it in a sexual connotation.
All right, that's just mad unprofessional.
But yeah, she's also, if I'm not mistaken, the first Food Network host who is part of the LGBT.
Oh, cool. Nice.
And she's one of the people that never really...
I thought Alton Brown was gay. Was Alton Brown not gay?
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe he just gave me vibes. You know what I'm talking about, right? Wasn't he a Food Network guy?
I know Alton Brown.
Yeah.
He...
Okay, I guess not. My bad, Alton Brown. I didn't mean to misidentify you, but I just got the vibes.
Yeah. Apparently it is a thing on the internet that finding out that Alton Brown isn't gay.
Okay, so I'm not alone here. Okay, I thought I was just like, oh man, did I like completely miss the mark? Okay, I'm not alone. So like, I'm glad there's at least a common consensus.
She had this whole thing where a competing Food Network host like thought that he was outing her by mentioning her girlfriend in one of his books and like as like a targeted tag, and she's like, I never said I was gay or straight. I never said either way and never put a label on it. I never tried to hide who I was, but I never actually like was
Say
vocal
what-
about it. So,
Yeah, no, I
What
understand.
did
I understand that.
but she was 55 years old and died of cardiac arrest.
He's it.
You know, that
Ah.
that feels appropriate for someone in the food industry. Not gonna lie.
Well, apparently, police are investigating if drugs were involved.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I did not mean to make a joke there.
God.
But yeah, because I've heard that the Food Network like host sphere can be very toxic.
You know what? That makes sense.
Like you were mentioning Alton Brown. Apparently, he's like really a jerk in real life.
He gave me
Allegedly.
he gave me catty gay man vibes this whole time. I'm not gonna lie.
But anyway, she will be missed. R.I.P.
Indeed. R.I.P.
Next, moving on to actual proper news. We've been on a bit of a Marvel kick lately, doing 2 weeks of Marvel. So I thought it only fair that we cover DC now, because there were 3 shorter DC stories that came out in the last 2 weeks. Wanted to spotlight. You guys might have heard of a couple of these. But first of all, James Gunn did confirm that a script is being written for a Wonder Woman movie.
Okay,
and
cool.
it is not connected to Paradise Lost. It is its own separate thing.
Okay. Is Paradise Lost like set in the DCU still, or is it like its own? Is that?
I
its own
believe
thing?
so.
Okay.
Like they're in the same universe, but they're like
It's not. But it's
Not
not. But it's not
projects.
connected. Okay, got you. So it's not. So Paradise Lost will still like take place in like ancient time, but it's not gonna actually like feature like a baby Diana or something.
and they're not going to be like creatively connected with like a writer or something.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. Cool.
Also, in one of the biggest shocks, an underrated Marvel character, Mr. Miracle, is getting his own animated show.
Huh.
DC
Man.
character, Brian.
Yeah.
DC. That's what I meant. Blah.
Yeah, I was
Brain.
like Marvel character. I was like,
anyway,
I was like my
DC
Marvel character. I was about to correct you and be like, you mean Miracle Man?
No, but the DC character, Mr. Miracle, is getting his own animated show.
Is Tom King writing it? Please tell me Tom King is writing it, because Tom King's Mr.
It is
Miracle.
based on the Tom King
Oh
mini,
shit! His miniseries was dope. I love that one.
and Tom King will serve as showrunner.
Oh fuck, that's huge. You go, Tom. I love Tom. I watch a lot of his interviews with Sal on Comic Pop. He seems like a great dude.
And last but not least, the Clayface movie that is being written by
Yeah.
Mike Hannigan.
I heard that he got cast, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we also got confirmation.
Is this in DCU or is this the Reeves verse?
I believe it was first going to be in the Reeves verse, but then is now going to be in proper DCU.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Which number?
also
Do we
got
know
confirmation-
which number Clayface it is? Is it like Carlisle,
Yes.
Matt Hagen?
when it got announced who was playing him, they announced like which Clayface it's going to be.
Okay.
It's Matt Hagen.
Okay, good. Because people don't know this because everybody associates Clayface with Basil Carlisle because of Batman the Animated Series. But Matt Hagen is actually the Clayface that is the Clayface with the powers that we know from Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
Now the comics have streamlined it and basically had it so that Basil has kind of like overtaken Hagen's personality, and so Carlisle's in charge, even though it's Hagen's power set.
Yeah, it's Carlo.
Carlo,
not
my
Carlisle.
bad. My bad. I was thinking of the reference that the name is based off, because it's based off of fucking Boris Carlisle. Boris Carlisle, the guy who played the Mummy in the 1930s. Oh, that's
That's
Karlov. Okay, I just keep getting these names wrong. Shit. So
Yeah,
close.
It's basically what he was like in Caped Crusader
Yeah.
when he initially appeared in comics.
If you want a
Yeah.
deeper history dive, again, shout out to a channel that we always plug during screen time somehow. Sasha on Casually Comics. She has a whole playlist, as she calls it,
But-
covering the
Yeah.
entire origin
Which
of Clayface.
shout out to her. But yeah, Matt Hagen has been cast.
Nice.
And they went for a relatively unknown British actor.
Cool.
His name is Tom Rhys Harries. Probably mispronounced that. Live action, what we here probably know him best as is Ricky September in Doctor Who.
Oh, nice. He was Ricky.
The like fictional pop star on Dot and Bubble.
Yeah. Even though I didn't like that
also-
episode, he was a fun character.
Also, I didn't know this, but he was also the voice of Prince Lucas in Wolf King.
Oh, shit. That
Okay.
shithead.
Evil, snotty.
Yep. I remember Prince Lucas, the Lion Prince.
So that's cool to see, and I'm glad they went with the unknown.
That's cool.
Yeah. So there was your shotgun like DC news, and that's it for news this week.
All right, so now we are gonna go ahead and jump into screen time. Screen time, notoriously the longest segment of our podcast, is the segment of the podcast where the guys and I all talk about the various pieces of pop culture that we have engaged with over the past week or so in between podcast episodes. That can range from anything from TV shows we don't have time to cover, movies we don't have time to cover, video games, music, comic books, novels, all of the like. So I'll jump in first. First thing I want to start off with is
Actually, Jay, why don't we change this up? Because I would actually like to start first.
Okay, sure, Tony, go ahead.
So, first things first, I actually want to talk about something that was talked about previously in Screen Time, but from a different perspective.
Okay.
I, as of recently, came across and purchased Insomniac's Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah,
Jay has
yeah.
talked about his Screen Time. Now I'm going to give it my own little spin. I actually really do enjoy this game.
Oh, you missed a swing pun there, buddy. Damn.
Now, you know me, I'm not one for ultimate punnage. It's not really my scene.
Sure. You know that's fair.
You're more the Punisher, Jay.
That's fair.
But sidestepping that, this has by far the most intimidating and ruthless version of Kraven outside of the comics that I've ever seen.
As I said, this Kraven is. I believe I said it in my Scream Time. I think this Kraven is the best version of Kraven, adaptation wise.
And I second that. But also, it gave me one of my more, like, in terms of adaptation, one of my favorite versions of Quentin Beck I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, it's fun. So like spoilers, I guess. But the game's been out for several years now. This game is all about like redemption and second chances. And Beck and his team are actually reformed now, and they're like, they've started up a tech company that focuses on VR experiences. And so like, one of the side quests is like helping them fix these Mysterium machines that have gone haywire, which are just basically glorified combat challenges. They're fun, but yeah. Beck's characterization is really good in this. He seems fun. They do a lot of good stuff with the Spidey rogues in this game for the most part.
But overall, the way I see it, I also see your problems with the overall story. Its theming isn't bad. By far one of the better stories in a Spider-Man anything, really.
Oh yeah.
But the way it was executed can be rather stupid.
Like, to put it into perspective, the original Insomniac Spider-Man, I would give like a 10 out of 10. But like Spider-Man 2, I'd give an 8. Still very good. But I have some major problems in terms of the storyline.
Yeah. And the way I kind of see it, just at the point I'm at, is I understand what they're trying to do. This is an overexhausted Pete, and by God, being exhausted for 10 years just trying to balance Peter life and Spider-Man life shit.
Also, I have to say, this is one of the few adaptations outside of, funny enough, Spectacular Spider-Man and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3 that actually does the one event from the comics that is consistent throughout the Black Suit saga, which is where where the suit actually takes a sleeping Peter on like night joyrides, and it like puppets his unconscious body.
Yeah, and
Like,
I had to.
Other adaptations don't actually do that. It's weird that they skip over that completely.
Yeah, but adding on to that, I actually saw a couple videos. Like, one was dedicated to this game that basically said, hey, if you can't follow like the story progression and not understand that characters were nerfed or buffed in any way.
Oh, you watched that? You watched the video of like the Insomniac Spider-Man wasn't nerfed, I think is the title or something like that. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing that video.
And if you don't understand that, then you're just media illiterate, was another adage to that title. And given the points that he presented, I kind of agree with what he presented and playing through the game myself. I see his points and I'm like, okay, he's kind of right here. It's just Pete's pulled in different direction. Pete's grieving after the events of the first game. He's not in the headspace to be doing crazy shit
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
and like and I really like that, like grief was like a big like probably the biggest through line through the whole thing, because obviously not only is Pete grieving, but you know, if you played the first game, you know Miles is still grieving too. I mean, he just lost his pops.
Yeah, and he is that more vengeful Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Hence-
yeah, that you would more expect from the black suit, you know. But like, you know, I also love how Miles actually comes to terms with his arc as well.
Yeah, and the thing that I find the most fascinating is, along with this overall theme of like adaptations of things related to Spider-Man, it's the old Ultimate Universe actually adapting Saga in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to the 616 version of the Clone Saga, which became a bloated mess.
Although, to be fair, the Ultimate Clone Saga is still pretty fucking convoluted.
But not as convoluted as...
I mean, it's not hard to be not as convoluted as a damn near 5-year overextended plot line from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard.
Where it's actually cohesive in the Ultimate Universe, which was doable.
Oh yeah, and I mean we got some great characters out of it, like Jessica Drew, Ultimate Jessica Drew.
Mm-hmm. Just female clone Pete.
Yep. Who, funny enough, still kept his still kept Pete's. She felt really weird because she also still had all of Pete's feelings. So she was like, "Am I crushing on Mary Jane? Is this me or is this him?" Like, I don't know. Am I bi?
Just arm shrugging.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the one thing that I was hyping up for several screen times is actually in my collection right now. I actually have now Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees in my comics collection.
Nice.
And one thing that I'm just going to point out, it is like the art itself, seeing it for myself, is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Just to have it.
Did you get the soft cover trade or the hardcover?
It's just a regular trade paperback.
Okay, so the soft cover trade. Gotcha.
And finally, I went back to Sir Superhero to catch a video that I haven't seen from him, but caught my eye. Talking about Enigma, the most complicated character in Marvel Comics.
Oh yeah.
So, streamlining it, Mr. Sinister's involved, creating 4 different clones of himself with different names, corresponding with different domains of power to become superhuman, all to become a Dominion, which is basically cosmic AI.
I would say it's a Eldritch AI almost. To use a comparison, the Phalanx is the other domain that exists in the Marvel universe. The Phalanx. Dominion.
You know,
I said domain. I was thinking Jujutsu Kaisen popped into my head, so I said domain instead of Dominion. But
yeah, so but beings that once they're created, they will always be in existence.
yeah, each of the Sinister clones is a different card suit. I didn't mean to hijack your shit, but like yeah, I was reading this as it was coming out because this was all like smack dab in the middle of the Krakoa era. Yeah, each one is a different card suit. Like you said, it controls a different aspect of like superpowerdom. My favorite of the clones is Mother Righteous, who is a sorceress and like cult leader.
Of course.
Well, apparently,
The reason I like her is
created
she's like super fucked up, and she's like a fucking mystic cult leader.
and
I just said, of course, because you have like an affinity for mystic stuff.
I do likes the magic. Although, to be fair, I like DC magic more than I like Marvel magic. Marvel magic is kind of boring because Marvel magic doesn't go into like deeper esoteric lore like DC's does. Like DC has shit like the Presence and, you know, the Spectre, all this other cool like deeper like Judeo-Christian-esque lore that like connects to real-world mythology. Marvel's just kind of bleh in the grand scheme of things.
Marvel has done was basically made magic into basically a literary device.
Yep.
Because Marvel cosmology is all about writing as a whole.
Yeah, and
Like everything that has happened in Marvel with the different ages is all associated with a concept in writing and creation. Hell, the one above all basically is Jack Kirby in some interpretation.
Yep, and also the way I see it, and like I'm stealing this from somebody. I don't remember where I heard this from, but like I totally agree with the concept of that Marvel is a sci-fi universe with fantasy elements, and DC is a fantasy universe with sci-fi elements, which is why DC's magic is much more interesting, and Marvel space stuff is much more interesting. I'm not
I
as
can agree with that.
I'm not as interested in Marvel space stuff. Like Green Lantern's dope, but that's all they really have is Green Lantern. I mean, sure, there are characters like Adam Strange, Hawkman, but like, let's be real, those guys aren't nearly as interesting as the crazy cosmic web that you got over with Marvel with Annihilus, all the different galactic empires, and all this other bullshit.
Yeah, some things that are just uniquely intrinsic to their universe just functions cosmologically different.
Like, Marvel's cosmic entities are on like kind of the same level of cool to me as DC's like higher beings.
Yeah.
Because like they operate kind of in the same function, but one is more of within like I said, like a fantasy lens. Like you have like the Spectre, the Phantom Stranger, the Presence, Lucifer, Morningstar, shit like that. But like with Marvel, it's much more of a sci-fi thing where you got like the Living Tribunal, Eternity, you know, the Grandmaster, the Collector, shit like that. All the Elders of the Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Elders of the Universe. Hell, isn't it like Master Law, Lord Chaos?
Yep, Master Order, Lord Chaos. Yeah, close.
Master Order, basically the same thing.
And you know, not to be confused, because Lord Chaos is not the same as Chthon. A lot of people confuse Lord Chaos with Chthon because Chthon is connected to Chaos magic, but Lord Chaos is the primordial force of Chaos. Chthon was just the first being to harness Chaos magic, and Chaos Chaos as an energy once Lord Chaos was dispersed and turned into an energy source.
And plus, cosmologically, Marvel entities, at least in my humble opinion, are very how they function. Right? Like they're always in pairs.
Yep.
And you have to thank for that, because each individual pair, because there are two newer ones that are the naturals, and I forgot the name of its pair, but basically magic and science.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was introduced during Gods. Yeah, it's very similar to how the Endless always have pairs in DC. You know, Dream and Death, Desire and Delirium.
No, Desire and Despair.
Oh, Desire and Despair. Oh, Desire and Despair. Right. Yeah.
But the big thing that I want to talk about is due to something that happened in real life that left me pretty indisposed. I decided, with the help of my girlfriend, watch something amusing. Gentlemen, watching a Disney animated movie while stoned really changes the perspective of that film entirely.
Okay, which movie is this? Now I really am curious, because I may have seen that movie high.
Home on the Range.
I have not watched Home on the Range high. Okay, I want to hear your high thoughts.
So it was more so the experience that the girlfriend and I shared, because she did not expect that the villain of that
the evil ranch hand guy.
Yeah,
that was like mind controlling the cows. Why do I still remember the plot of Home on the Range?
I don't know, man.
What the fuck?
Almina Slim was using yodeling to control cattle, so he can basically sell the cattle and get the land from the ranch owners.
Yep, and he was voiced by Randy Quaid.
Oh my god!
My girlfriend. It's so interesting. The flip in dynamic. You know, when Jack started his career, people knew him as Randy Quaid's son, and now that like Jack is popping off, it's like, that's Jack Quaid's dad. No, wait, he's Dennis Quaid's kid, isn't he?
Yeah, Jack Quaid is the one that was in Christmas Vacation, who has since gone on to like go cuckoo bananas.
Yeah.
No, Jack Quaid is Huey, isn't he? Jack Quaid is Huey.
Yeah, I'm saying Randy Quaid is the one that went crazy.
Randy Quaid's the one that went crazy. Because I heard you say Jack, I was like, wait, Jack Quaid didn't go crazy. Am I tripping?
No, Randy Quaid is Jack Quaid's uncle.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. So my bad. Dennis Quaid is Jack Quaid's dad.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid has actually gone on record to say that he thinks that now in his career he's a reverse Nepo baby.
Yeah, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm Jack Quaid's dad.
Yeah. But the funniest thing related to that is my girlfriend's reaction to the whole yodeling scene. She was like, oh, because it was like trippy colors.
Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't it go? I remember it goes like pink elephants, right? Like where it's all like psychedelic and shit.
Yeah, and she was laughing her ass off, and I was trying to explain to her the nature of yodeling as like a song form that was used.
While this is going on?
Yes.
Oh my god.
No, this is why you do not mix autism and drugs, ladies and gentlemen. Well, or do
No.
if it's legal, because it leads to some really weird, interesting shit.
It was hilarious. Well, also, me just was under the impression that my coffee table was a lot smaller than it actually was. Be that as it may. All that was leading to a Disney villain ranking video that I saw from the YouTube channel Jamboree, who put Alameda Slim in the early part of the list because he's traveling down a list of villains from not only the main Disney film villains, but also the sequel villains from Disney Toon, which is the
You
different.
talked about this.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah, you did. You brought that video up last week, I believe.
So I decided to bite the bullet. I was like, you know what? Let's see how bad Alameda Slim is.
Oh, got you. So after watching the video, you were like, "Oh, fuck it, I'm gonna watch this movie."
I want to
Yeah.
see.
I think Brian did that, but like not because he watched the video. It was because he wanted to watch the video. He said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna watch Gem and the Holograms."
Yeah. Erod, the blockbuster buster.
Yes, love
He
that
was one
guy.
of the last people. He was one of the last people to join Channel Awesome before it went tits up.
I remember that. Good God. Also, I haven't watched any of his videos in a long while, but I still respect that dude.
He retired the character because his wife helped him create the character and helped him like run the series, and she passed away.
Oh,
Damn.
dang.
So he still reviews stuff, but as himself.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, mad respect. But one last thing before we go. On the Yu-Gi-Oh side of things, I saw a couple videos talking about what the modern decks for certain old Yu-Gi-Oh characters would be like. It's sweet baby Jesus. It's hilarious. My favorite one is for Joey.
Uh-huh.
A lot of red ice cards.
I mean, to be fair, like Joey has it easier because his deck wasn't like turned into 26 different decks like Yugi's.
Oh no, it is far more insane than you really think about it, Jay. So this individual, I think it's Spell Commander 1, I believe is the YouTube. He made a whole deck profile with a buddy of his for a modern Joey deck. He combined Red Eyes, Black Dragons, whole lineup of cards with the Flame Swordsman cards.
Interesting.
Well, Joey did have the Flame Swordsman.
Flame Swordman
Yes,
was
that
his,
was-
yeah, Flame Swordman was his boss monster before Red Eyes.
Red Eyes.
That was the whole thing, yeah.
So that whole crux of that makes sense, but the most entertaining thing about it is trying to make those cards synergize. You know how to make them synergize?
How?
Equip spell.
Oh, yeah. There isn't
So
isn't
basically-
there a Red Eyes monster that becomes an equip spell, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly?
a lot of them become equip
Yeah,
monsters.
I know that was a gimmick for a lot of Red Eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, so take a lot of those cards to equip, throw in like a couple Gearfried cards, like Phoenix Enforcer.
Oh, Phoenix Enforcer is busted. I love Phoenix Enforcer.
Yeah, so a couple spell cards from there. A complete main deck, side deck, extra deck, you name it, is so good.
Nice.
And also, just of today, I decided to rewatch Arc 5, but Particular Duels. Entertaining. Still don't like this series because Miss Potential,
Same.
oh my god, could be worse. Could be worse.
100. Yeah, definitely could be. Could be Zexel. Sorry,
Yeah.
Zexel. I've learned to appreciate you more, but you're still at the bottom of my list.
Oh, that's it for me.
Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and jump in from here. So, first things first, this was something I was going to bring up last week when it was more relevant. The album is much older now, and like all the vitriol and hate for it has it's still going on, but like now it's not fresh. But I hate to say it, you guys, one of my goats in terms of hip hop is officially washed. He's done. He's cooked.
Oh,
Fried.
I think I heard about this.
Lil Wayne's new album is garbage.
Yep.
Absolute garbage. Basura. Trash. Fire.
Young Money.
Absolute disaster. What the action? Bro, I grew up in the early 2000s. Most of the important core memories of my childhood and teenage years all existed in the early 2000s. And throughout that entire time, I've been a huge hip hop head. And my two favorite rappers throughout this entire time period were Jay-Z and Lil Wayne. Jay-Z has not moved from that spot of number one. Hove will always be my favorite. And you want to know why? Because Hove knows when to stop. Hove knows, all right, if I ain't got nothing to say, I don't need to come out and make music. I'll pop out every now and then to come, give you a fire verse or maybe even an album to, get clear my conscience about cheating on my wife. But you know, I'll at least have substance to my music. I will put effort into my music. I will show y'all that no matter how old I am still him. I am the GOAT. Lil Wayne, I loved him. I was a huge fan. I've memorized so many Lil Wayne songs. I grew up on this man. And the fact that he started his career as a child inspired me as a kid. Like, man, if Lil Wayne could do it, I might be able to be a rapper someday. I love this man. But good golly, Miss Dolly, this album sucked so bad. And the thing that pisses me off the most, the worst song on this entire album was produced by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
What?
Oh, shit.
Lin, what the actual fuck, bro? What the fuck, Lin? You're giving yourself a bad name now because people who aren't into musical theater and have just heard of you because you were produced a track on this Lil Wayne album now are gonna think you suck and will never listen to any of your actual good stuff because this song was garbage. It's a song called Peanuts to an Elephant, and he actually incorporates the sound of an elephant braying into the beat, and it sounds like this whack ass Nintendo 64 loading screen ass beat, some fucking old school chip tune ass music. Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
I will use your whole name as far as I know. Lin-Manuel Miranda, you are better than this. What the hell? As a fan.
Also, it kind of sucks because Wayne muddied the Carter series.
He really did. And people have pointed it out to me and I didn't even realize. If you really think about it, the Carter series overall now is kind of ass because it's 50% gold and 50% garbage. Like Carter, yeah. it's like the Star Wars of hip hop albums. The original trilogy, fucking untouchable, golden. The sequel trilogy, absolute garbage. You know, Carter 4, okay, we might have some promise here. Carter 5, all right, what the fuck is this? And now we got Carter 6. All right, what the fuck just happened? Why did Palpatine return? Why is there elephant sounds on this bitch? What's going on here?
Sequel trilogy was like, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Absolute garbage. Sequel trilogy's at the bottom.
Damn,
man.
Sucks.
Like, and the thing is, Lil Wayne doesn't even have a prequel trilogy to be in the middle. So, like, it's just original trilogy, sequel trilogy. There's no underrated prequel trilogy that everybody hated at first, but now that we've got the garbage of the sequel trilogy, we can't, like, appreciate the prequels in hindsight. There's none of that. He just has original trilogy and garbage, and I'm so mad as a fan. I'm just now I can't even defend Lil Wayne. People are like, you see that? That's why he didn't get the Super Bowl performance while Kendrick got it, because he's garbage. And I'm just like, I can't say nothing because the music sucks. Like, they're not wrong. I would not have wanted to see this at the Super Bowl. And the thing is, right, homie made that big fucking announcement on the day of the Super Bowl. Guess what, y'all? Carter 6 is happening soon. Let's go. Everybody was like, oh shit, another Carter album. Let's go. The Carter series is, you know, everybody remembers it more fondly because everybody remembers the 3 good ones. And it's just like, we get it, and it's garbage. And you know what's worse? It's a 20-song album.
Oh.
So it's
God.
And like here's the thing, right? It's not that Wayne is bad at rapping. Wayne on a technical level can rap his ass off. He's doing like complicated rhyme schemes, metaphors, cool, good shit. But it's all just the same shit. He just keeps talking about the same shit. There are only so many times I can hear you have a metaphor about how you eat pussy, bro. Like, I was there for Pussy Monster. You did this 10 years ago. It was cool the first time. You don't gotta do it 8 more times. I do think there are cool spots on it, like he features his kids in it because his kids are doing their own thing music-wise, and they're actually pretty good. His youngest son, I don't remember his actual name, but his artist name is like Lil Navi or something like that. Lil Novi, something like that. Fucking spitting image of Lil Wayne. It's crazy. But he was pretty good. Like, there are good spots on the track, but on the track list, but there are only like 4 songs that I actually like. And also, no hate to this artist. I'm sure they're a good person, and like, you know, I've heard good things about their music, but I just gotta say it as a hip hop fan. Can hip hop artists stop inviting Jelly Roll to their songs? I'm tired of seeing Jelly Roll, bro. I don't care. I don't like this man. Why is he always showing up on these new modern hip hop albums? Are y'all just trying to be country? Like, I don't get it.
I think that's it. But Jelly Roll, I like him when he's like by himself.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I had to preface it, because like I'm sure Jelly Roll by himself is fine, but like I'm tired of seeing Jelly Roll features everywhere on my hip hop albums. I want my hip hop albums to be hip hop, bro. What the fuck is going on here? I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I can't.
Like when Post did it, it was fine because Post was going through.
See, Post was fine because Post also had. But here's the thing, right? Post was always had like folk and country elements in his music, so it wasn't like a left turn. But you got somebody like Lil Durk having Jelly Roll on his songs, like Lil Wayne,
Jesus,
Young Thug. Like, I don't want to hear Jelly Roll on a Young Thug song, bro.
Well, to be fair, like thematically, I can see it because part of Jelly Roll's whole thing is that he used to be in prison.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. Like he's got the imagery and the aesthetic, but like I just every time I hear him, it just throws off the vibe, man.
Yeah.
And like again, no hate to Jelly Roll. I'm sure you're a great artist, but like I'm just upset. I'm just upset that like one of my favorite artists of all time put out an absolute stinker. Now, has every artist put out a bad album at least once in a career that has had like crazy longevity? Sure, everybody has one bad album, but you can't tarnish your greatest series like this to have a bad album on the level of this bad of an album, bro. Like it's it's crazy. If you had just titled this like Rebirth 3 or I'm Not a Human Being Volume 3, nobody would have gave a fuck. We would have been like, all right, that album sucked, but that wasn't for me. And also, Wayne, I know you like guitar, I know you like rock and shit, but that's not your thing, dog. Stop it.
No.
Stop it. You're not MGK. Just because MGK was on this album does not mean you get to be MGK. He could do it. He actually transitioned very well into rock. In fact, I actually think his punk music is better than some of his rap, even though I do like a lot of his rap music. Don't get it twisted. MGK is actually a pretty good rapper.
But I do think that Lil Wayne came out with one good rock album, but that was it.
The first one, that's it. Rebirth.
Yeah.
Rebirth is the close. Like, if you want to do like a Star Wars analogy again, Rebirth is like one of his only ones that would be like in the prequel trilogy category, where it's like everybody thought it was bad at first, but like going back to it, it's like, oh, actually, this is pretty good. It's not the best.
I don't know if this was on Rebirth or not, but I still have in rotation on my iPod Knockout.
Oh, that's the one with Nicki. Fuck it, give me the damn buck. Yep, that's on Rebirth.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. No, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that song. But yeah, it was fucking garbage. I'm so upset. I was gonna bring this up last week while the wound was still fresh, and I had just listened to the album, and like my rage and vitriol were like actually like bubbling over. But now I've calmed down and realized like it's not that deep, bro. You have other rappers you like now. You're not just a Lil Wayne fan anymore. It's okay.
I hadn't listened to it yet, but I hadn't listened to all of it but one song yet. But Ian Dior.
Yeah, Ian Dior. Yep.
Just came out with a new rock album.
Oh yeah, it was pretty fire. I like it. Like, people can handle the transition, and I respect Wayne for being a pioneer in that way of like, you know, inspiring a whole generation to like embrace a more rock, pop punk, emo sound. Like, you know, he raised an entire generation, and he will always get credit for being influential. But, you know, being objective, just because I'm a huge fan does not mean I will not call you out if you put out some garbage and you wasted my time with 20 songs of ass.
Because I will also have respect for him, because he was one of the first people that spoke up against purple drink scissor.
He spoke up against it, but he still drinks it. He's a fucking hypocrite.
Really?
Yeah. He's still drinking it. He's still doing lean.
Damn, dude.
He's still doing lean. That's why people are fucking roasting him on this album, because he's still fucking super slurring his words high out of his mind.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, bro.
Damn, dude.
Like that's the thing that's pissing us off as fans is that like we don't want to see you just be the same person over and over again, bro. But also,
And dude, Juice WRLD died of this shit, and that dude was like,
yeah, he was like 22.
a prodigy.
He was like 22, 23 at the time. Yeah, no, he was cut. His time was cut down far too soon. It wasn't purple drink, it was pills, but you know. Still drugs.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like the reason I bring up the Hove comparison is because you know for a long time I put Wayne and Hove in the same kind of like upper echelon of rappers, right? But like Hove, like now like if you look at like 1997 Reasonable Doubt Hove and 2024 2023 Hove, they talk about completely different shit. He's not talking about flipping birds on the high like you know on the corner no more. He doesn't just do drug dealer raps. Now he talks about like affluence and making a difference in your community and you know like how far I've come. Yeah, growth. Like that God did verse is so fire because you actually get to see like the progression of where he was to where he is, and it's fucking inspiring. Like I want that in my legacy act hip hop artist. I want to know what your life is like now. And sure, maybe Lil Wayne is just in like a Peter Pan syndrome type thing since he's a child. He's, you know, if you know, people don't really think about it like this, but he's a child star. He came into this game at like 11 years old. So maybe this is just all he knows. Yeah, he started his career at like age 11. Yeah, he started rapping with the Hot Boys when he was like 11 in the 90s.
Dude, you are 42 years old now.
Yeah, and you're still rapping about the same shit. Pussy money weed, like, bro, there's more to life. Like, I want to know more from, because it's not like he's not you know, he doesn't have the capability of being an articulate person, right? That's the thing that pisses me off, is that, like, I know there's something in there. I know he's a smart dude. He just chooses to do this dumb shit. And I'm just like, bro, as a fan, I'm just upset. Because I know you can do more. And I know you still have the ability to rap. Because you can rap your ass off. It reminds me a lot of why I, like, fell off pretty hard on Eminem. Like, over the past, like, 5 years or so. Because, like, skill-wise, is fucking unmatched. Dude can rap his ass off. But, like, he really doesn't have shit to say about anything anymore. And, like, when he tries to, and, like, he did that whole era where he was bashing Trump and shit, like, it just felt really cringe and out of place. And
maybe now that he's a granddad, it'll...
Yeah, who knows? I hope so. Like, I want to see our legends grow, man. I don't want to see them just stagnate and stay the same that they've been for the past 20 years or so. It's upsetting as a fan. But moving on from something that severely upset me as a fan, I'm sorry that rant lasted a lot longer than I wanted to, but like I had to get all that out off my chest. I've been holding this in for like 2 weeks. I'm moving on to something that thoroughly pissed me off, to something that I thoroughly enjoyed. Couple things. It's two related topics really. While cleaning my room, I found my manga storage box, and I discovered my collection of the Pokemon Adventures manga, and I realized I was missing out on a couple of the sagas, because I have the red, blue and yellow, and fire red, leaf green. I have Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. It's not Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. I have Ruby, Sapphire, and Oras. But I do not have Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, Black and White, and shit like that. So I went and I watched a bunch of these like manga recap videos that were like like comic historian style manga recap videos, for lack of a better term. Which, by the way, the anniversary of Benny's passing was like a few weeks ago. Rest in peace to the legend.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it's been a year.
R.I.P.
But yeah. So I watched those manga recap videos. It makes me really want to read the more of the Avengers manga. The Avengers manga is great. If you love the world of Pokemon, but would like to see it in, not even in more mature, I would say. It's I guess, what is a good word for it, Tony? Like, played more straight? Because I mean, like, there are still comedic elements, there's still levity to it. It's not like grim, dark, and edgy, but like things have a lot more weight to it, I guess, is what I would say. Yeah, mature is a good word. Because people always, the reason I didn't want to use mature is because people always think, when people say mature, people always just immediately jump to, oh, there's titties in it, or there's like, it's dark and edgy. And like that's not what I mean exactly, but yeah, I guess that's the best word we could come up with. So it's really good, and this led me down a rabbit hole that that recommended me a video talking about a fan-made Pokemon project by a dev team called Pokemon Visual. Shout out to Pokemon Visual, you guys are great. And they created a fan-made Pokemon visual novel called Pokemon Academy Life. By the time you guys see this, the VOD will have been deleted because Twitch only keeps VODs around for like 3 days. But Tony and I recently, as of the recording of this video, actually streamed the first few hours of Pokemon Academy Life, and essentially, right, it is a visual novel set in the Pokemon universe where you play as the protagonist, which is essentially Red, but you can change it to your name. But so you play as you in the Pokemon universe. You've got a Pikachu, and you're from Pallet Town, all the usual shit with Red. But you get accepted into this prestigious academy for Pokemon training called Kupakan Academy. And in this academy, you get an opportunity to meet several friends, which are various familiar faces all throughout the Pokemon's long storied history, all the way up to Gen 9. Actually, the recent update goes all the way up to Scarlet and Violet stuff, because I saw Grusha there, so that was cool. So this game is like a visual novel dating sim type game where you can, romance all your favorite Poke waifus. And Poke has bondos because it is canonical. It is canon that the player character is bi. Because he mentions in I will say I had like a scene with Serena, getting to know Serena, and it was really cute because we discover that Serena is actually Serena's kind of putting on a facade, because she has this whole aesthetic of fancy French girl, super stylish, girly, but actually she's her real personality is this Japanese hick, essentially, from Pallet Town. Her mom was this famous Rhyhorn racer who got rich and then moved to France, and so
she's basically Emma Frosting it.
Yeah, she's Emma Frosting it, basically, right down to the blonde hair. But that's kind of funny. But yeah, so in that exchange, she talks about she needs our help to make sure Callum, which if you don't speak Pokemon and don't know the names of every protagonist character, Callum is the XY protagonist. She wants us to help her make sure Callum stays single, and then when we as the player character don't understand what she's talking about, not necessarily how can I help with that? She eventually snaps and goes into hick mode and goes into full country accent and is like, listen, I just don't want you to hit on him, you hear? And wait, I'm into dudes? Says player character. It's yeah. Oh wait, he's into dudes? Yeah. Oh, okay. Good to know. But all right, I won't hit on him. Got it. Which honestly, I was a little sad. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, man, I was kind of hoping to romance Serena, but she's into somebody else. I may be a hoe, but I'm not a home wrecker.
Yeah,
I draw a line. I don't practice NTR, you guys.
Yeah.
That's why May is off limits as well, because our boy Brendan locked that down ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
And we love Brendan. One of the fun things about the playthrough, as we do with all our visual novel playthroughs, if you're unfamiliar with how we do things, is we gather homies and we give all the characters various voices and personalities. And this is where I'll pass it off to Tony so he can explain our characterizations for our colorful cast of trainers in this wonderful world of wonderful alternate world of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. 1 second. Well, okay, shithead.
Apparently he's going through some things.
He's messing with the cat.
No, my cat decided he wanted to fight.
Oh, okay, the cat's messing with him. My bad.
Yep.
Anyway, so I'll use Brendan as an example. By the way he looks, would you picture him as an athletic type? Yeah, absolutely. Gym bro? Absolutely. But to add more to it, to make it funny, he's also a stoner.
Yep. It is the canon of our universe that Brendan is the weed man on campus.
Even though he may have Mudkip, he will always have Trico in our hearts.
Yep, no, he burns that Trico, that's for sure. But yeah, there's that. Some fun characterizations that David missed out, or that Tony missed out on, that David threw in, that I think are absolutely hilarious. because our boy David threw in some voices as well. So everybody who's a classic Pokemon player who's played through original Gen 2 probably still has nightmares about this particular trainer, Whitney, and her monstrous, murderous milk tank. And David made the funniest, most genius acting decision in terms of Whitney's characterization that only David can do, but like it works so well. He turned Whitney into Boomhauer. Like, he just purposely reads Whitney's dialogue really, really fast and speaks it all in one sentence. And because David himself, it's a little difficult already to understand him, it's all extra Boomhauery. So it's really funny.
Man, click. It's real easy, man.
Well, yeah, you know, man, I'm just the Pokemon, man. I just got that milk tank, mommy milking, man. And, I was also doing, man, I'll tell you what, the milk drink, man, and stomping, and then, it's paralyzed, and then charm, that's what I'm saying, man, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, oh my god, it's so funny, dude. I crack up every time Whitney's on screen, thanks to David. Shout out to our boy David. He's fucking absolute legend. Good shit.
Shout out to that guy.
So yeah, that's a fun one. Leaf is also, I really like Leaf. Leaf might be the play for at least this first run, because Leaf is very interesting. She's mysterious. She's also like a little Miss Sassafras. Like,
oh yeah,
the dev team clearly read the Pokemon Adventures manga, because like they got her characterization down to a T. She is a mischievous little minx. That one. You don't trust Leaf. She is a con woman, bruh. Yeah. What did Belle Biv DeVoe say? Never trust a big butt and a smile. That girl is poison. But in a good way. I like Leaf. Leaf is sassy. Also, there's a lot of mystery with Leaf. She has this aversion to water for some reason, but she also talks about how she's really interested in marine biology. Don't know what that's about, but I'm curious to find out. We've also got some other great waifus in here. Flannery's in here. Also, fun fact, they made Whitney gay in this one. Good for you, Whitney.
Yeah.
Flannery's here, and she just absolutely hates morning classes. She is dead to the world in the mornings, which mood, I can relate to that. Flannery's here, Skyla's here. They have Nessa here, which I'm super excited about. Janine is here. Super underrated waifu from Pokemon, Janine, Koga's daughter. They got a lot of good choices, a lot of fan favorites. How is it pronounced? Is it Bay? The fighting chick that all the feet people go crazy over from Sword and Shield? B? Okay, yeah.
Because her name in Japanese is closely connected to beats.
Ah, got it. Yeah, she's there. I haven't met her yet because I don't have any fighting type Pokemon, so I have no reason to go to fighting type class. Well, now I do, but I didn't at the time until recently. So haven't met her yet. I've at the point where I've gotten into the story, because there are two different versions of this game. There's the original version where they made this on RenP, which is like a basic visual novel like engine that a lot of people make these like basic bitch visual novels on. But now they changed to Unity for this new one, and the art style has improved. They also gave certain characters much better fits, because we were very upset they gave Misty a whack ass fit in the game in the version of the game that we initially played. They gave her the Gen 3 fit, which was not a good look for Misty.
No. Which
I'm glad Misty's here. Misty. We have several flavors of tsundere in this game, which I'm all here for. It's just really fun. Now here's the other fun part. Tony, do you want to tell Brian? You want to tell Brian the story?
Okay. So initially, our initial plan was to have Jay be the protagonist and name Blue after me, until we realized that Red in this context is more of a fusion dance of us. But since you were busy with other things and you couldn't join right away.
Yeah, because we invited Brian at first. We're like, just like the old days. Brian loved to do these kind of things. And Brian, he to give context, this was a Friday, so Brian had just gotten off of work, and so he felt drained, and it was a little taxing.
Well, also, we had a work excursion, so that's more.
Yeah. Your social battery was drained. Totally understandable.
And then also on top of that, it is no it is not doxing to say that I live in Florida. Yeah, we have said that before.
Yeah, and you've said it several times. It's not like you mentioned the city or anything.
But
Florida Heat.
I
Yeah.
can't say. Well, not only that, but we got a heat warning that day.
Ooh, Jesus.
It was like expected to get up in the hundreds.
Damn. And in Florida, that's rough. But yeah.
Yeah,
So we were like, all right, cool. So we're gonna have Brian here at least in spirit. So yeah, continue, Tony.
So when Jay and I initially thought about it, we were like, in a joking way, with love, we were like, you know what? Since he ain't here, let's name Blue after Brian. And when we first Blue, he was such a dick.
He's such a dick.
Both ways.
He's
We
such.
looked at each other across the internet, and we were like, you know what?
Fuck Brian.
For old time's sake, fuck you, Brian.
Yeah, we were just like, fuck Brian. The entire stream is just every time he showed up, man, fuck you, Brian. Fuck Brian. It's just like, man, you know what? This feels right. This feels right.
It felt right. It felt right, but
We also just kept laughing. We kept like bursting into laughter because like the contrast to having like the most dickish character named after our most wholesome friend. It's just like
it tickles me pink just thinking about it.
dude.
Could you imagine if I had just randomly showed up?
That would have been so fucking funny, bro. I would have had David clip that shit. If you, especially if you came in during a Brian scene and we were just like, "Fuck you, Brian. You're just mad because your grandpa doesn't love you and he loves me instead."
It was hilarious, and ultimately to that conclusion, since there had to be this weird fusion dance of the perpetual loss, Jay with no game thanks to me apparently, which not much is true.
It is true. It is true. But don't worry, folks. I have been increasing his charm stat, so that will not plague us much longer.
Thank God. But you're still direct.
Well,
you're still
listen, we have established that is apparently just a multiversal constant. If this character is me,
Yeah, so a multiversal constant, Jay is just perpetually lost. He is, like I said, a bolt without sails or rudders.
nope, or GPS.
Now, I do have to ask. What is this infamous Professor Oak thing that you were?
Oh, okay.
Mentioning.
So Oak is pretty savage in the initial version of the game we played, right? Like, you know, he forgets Blue's name in class. During the when he's taking attendance for homeroom because Blue is in our homeroom. So he says like Jay. It's like here, all right. And then Brian is like, hey Gramps. It's like, oh hello. What was your name again? Gramps. It's me.
God.
It's Brian. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. But Oak is even more savage. So we have this meeting, right? And like Oak talks about our power, about how we have this like innate ability to make friends with both people and Pokemon. And on the Pokemon side, like our Pokemon innately just bond with us almost instantaneously and listen to us without fail. Makes us having a really good natural like affinity for Pokemon training and battling. Cool. And then so we asked Professor Oak straight up. We're like, hey Sam, which in this new version, like the protagonist when they're in private just calls Oak Sam because they're neighbors, and he never really knew him as Professor Oak. He just knew him as my next door neighbor Sam. So he's like, hey Sam, so like how the fuck did I get in this school? You were there when I was in Pallet Town. I was like the bottom of my class in high school. How did I get into this fancy school? I'm not rich, like we have like a modest house next to you, man. Like, fuck is going on here? I'm not a smarty pants like your grandson. Why'd you recommend me? And so like,
What?
in the initial game, in the version we played, in the scene Tony saw, Oak is like, well, it was because I needed you here because I wanted to test my hypothesis. And besides, Blue's smart, Brian's smart, and he's a good trainer. He didn't need my help getting in. So that's what he says in this, which is like, all right, understandable. That makes sense. Like, and it's pretty nice to Blue. In the new version, that's what we assume. We actually say it's like, oh, so you just didn't recommend Brian because Brian is already smart and a good trainer, so he would have gotten in without your help anyway. And Oak goes, that is incorrect. And it's like, what? It's like, I don't believe my grandson deserves a spot in this school. And I was just like, what? And he goes, yes.
No.
Yes, he's arrogant, self-absorbed, doesn't listen to his betters. His skill as a trainer is undeniable, and he is definitely intelligent, but he does not deserve to be here. And I'm like, oh shit. Although Oak does get like very introspective, he's like, although I understand where he inherited those traits from, I wasn't exactly the best father to his father, so that's on me. But that doesn't stop me from saying my grandson sucks.
Damn.
Apparently Brian only calls Oak on holidays and days where he's expected to Oak is expected to send him money.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Brian's a piece of shit. Fuck you, Brian.
Fuck you, Brian.
Hey.
We were talking about the other Brian, not you, Brian.
I know. I was playing it up.
Alternate universe, Brian. But yeah, we will. If you do end up joining us, you will be voicing Brian, obviously. But yeah.
Jay can tell you that it's not as like harsh as the other guys, but I do every once in a while have an evil streak.
But like, man, it was just so funny and also like oddly cathartic to just constantly being like, man, fuck you, Brian. Fuck Brian. Go eat a dick, Brian.
I am going to try to not internalize that.
It was just so fun. I don't know why. But yeah, I had a blast with that. We're gonna continue that shit. If you want to watch that live, it's not that long because the dev team is still the game is still in development. They haven't completed the full year yet in terms of the calendar, because it works very similar to Persona, where it's on like a school year calendar system, and the entire game is supposed to be one full school year. But I think they only have like a month or so on the calendar in the game so far, but they are constantly updating like every couple months or so. So, you know, whenever the next update comes out, we will be here for that.
Mm-hmm.
It is really fun. You can also catch and capture Pokemon as well, so it's not just a dating sim. You can still do Pokemon stuff. It's really fun, man. If you enjoy visual novels and you are a huge Pokemon fan and like little nods to like manga characterization, anime characterization, stuff like that, you will definitely enjoy Pokemon Academy Life. The new version is called Pokemon Academy Life Forever. It's dope. I really like it. The other thing before we move on to Brian, proper channel taste is Brian, not fuck you, Brian Blue. But the last thing I want to talk about is I actually watched a movie on Hulu that was recommended to me by Twitter, because it was recommended as like one of the best like mature movies of 2025, and it is called Anora, which I did not know was the movie that won Best Picture, because I didn't really pay attention to the Oscars this year. But it's on Hulu, so if you have Hulu, definitely check it out. Anora is essentially, it's like Pretty Woman, but like a modern version of Pretty Woman. But instead of like a prostitute, she's just a stripper who occasionally fucks people in the back room. And like she ends up like marrying, you can't see my quotation marks, this Russian guy whose parents are trying to get him to like go back to Russia, but he doesn't have to be forced back to Russia if he's married to an American citizen. So they do kind of like a 90 Days Fiance style type shit. And like, you know, his family is rich, and like they're mad at him for like marrying a quote unquote prostitute, blah 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 blah. It's your standard kind of Pretty Woman type beat. You know where this goes if you've seen these kind of rom-coms, but it has a lot of fun twists and turns, really great acting and characterization. I think the romance itself is really cute. The leads have great chemistry. It's also very well shot and very pretty.
She won Best Actress at the Oscars.
Oh, well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Well deserved.
But everyone was like, what was this movie that came out of nowhere that is classified as a rom-com?
Yeah, rom-coms never win Oscars. Like, rom-coms never win Oscars for stuff. And yeah, and like, I was just looking up rom-com recommendations because I was in a rom-com mood, and Twitter was like best rom-coms of 2025. And I was like, the first one on the list, number one, was Anora, and I Googled it, and I was like, oh, it's available on Hulu? I have Hulu. I can watch this, bet. Knowing nothing about it, I watched the trailer beforehand, so I just got to know what the premise was. I was like, okay, cool. And I watched it, and I really liked it. I totally see why it won awards.
The lead, she was in the Scream franchise.
Oh, in the iteration with where Homegirl got kicked because of her views on Palestine, right?
Yep.
Dang, bro.
She was Amber.
Oh, cool.
And
Yeah.
she just did a TV show for ITV called Lady in the Lake.
Oh, interesting. But yeah, great movie. Totally recommend it if you are a rom-com fiend like yours truly here. That's
Nice.
that's pretty much it.
which,
I don't have anything else I really want to talk about. I don't think there are like a couple YouTube videos I checked out, but like nothing where I'm like, oh, you got to see this video. I'm still in my like YouTube dating show rabbit hole phase as well. So shout out to David Alvarezi. I've been watching a lot of their videos and like, you know, their connected channel Poppy Studios as well. I've also been watching a lot of anime IRL and their game show content, which is really funny. Like,
Oh, yeah.
although I'm terrible at guess the opening because I usually like I have like a 3-episode rule with openings unless the opening is an absolute banger. I watch the opening for like the first 3 episodes and then I skip it for throughout the rest unless the opening is an absolute banger. Like, and there are only a few shows where I don't skip the opening. One of them is Oshinoko's first opening. Never skip it. That song is an absolute banger.
Nice. I also like their Family Feud.
Oh, Anime Feud is good. Anime Feud is good.
Family Feud.
They did one of those blind dating type shows with like cosplayers for Chris, and it was hilarious. And like the girls had to stay in character the whole time. It was really funny. One girl was Power, another girl was Yor from Spy Family, and another girl was Misa from Death Note.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was hilarious. Power was just as unhinged and disgusting as you would expect Power to be. It was,
Of course.
It was so fun. It was so fucking funny. She talked about how she's trying to break her record of how long she's gone without showering, and currently she's on 3 weeks. And I was like, oh man, that's Power. That's Power. And then. It was just some really funny stuff. Their game shows are really solid. But yeah, that's it for me for real this time. Now on to real, Brian.
All right, so been like watching the stuff that I've been watching, like 2 Hot Takes, which was really cool because the latest episode got Bob the Drag Queen as a guest, which was really cool. They had a lot of surprising like similar like mentalities, so it was really cool. Found out that Bob the Drag Queen is into some like messed up Reddit stuff, like the like gruesome photos Reddit stuff. But yeah, also 911, been watching it sporadically. After they did the whole like not Titanic arc, they then did they called it, I think, Begeddon arc, where a truck of like I think it was thousands, like tens of thousands of bees like fell over.
The bees, not the bees.
Yeah, and like a swarm of them got caught up in like a tornado.
Oh
and,
no,
like,
Bee-nado.
Not being
yeah,
NATO.
it was like crazy. It was crazy. And then you know, Angela Bassett, they've been leaning on her, and just when you think that they've done everything with her character that you could do, because they had a whole arc, like this was a couple seasons ago, about how what got her into being a cop was a fiance who was a cop who passed away on the field, and his killer was never caught. Well, she finally caught his killer.
Okay.
And like all the stuff in her backstory has been set and everything. Now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the fiance's killer is now a state witness who is going to rat on not Jeffrey Epstein,
That's funny.
and like has his list of clients that he's been working with. But and I will give them credit, they didn't do it well. Then he asked her to be his escort from changing states, as you do. But I will give them cred, they didn't do the typical story of she has to escort him but there are people chasing him, so she has to go off book and like off the grid. They didn't do that. But there were still people chasing him. But however, in a complete freak accident, together they were involved in a plane crash where she, with the assistance of a totally not autistic kid, had to fly the plane and land it
Interesting.
on a freeway.
Well, shit.
This show just is so ridiculous.
Ryan Murphy, what are you smoking, bro?
But it's 8 seasons in.
This sounds like me when I try to explain Riverdale to people.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is. They hadn't done superpowers yet.
Have they done a blood cult where they sacrifice children to an eldritch god and it was never addressed
No, but
ever
they
again?
But they did do an episode where multiple times they had to visit this one influencer because she claimed that she was just extremely unlucky, but really it was her assistant.
Did they do
was in cahoots
did they do
with
an
a stalker.
did they do an episode where they used D&D as a scapegoat for a drug epidemic of a drug that was vaguely reminiscent of pixie sticks for some reason?
No, they didn't do that. They hadn't touched D&D.
Which, you
What?
guys, I'm being dead ass. That is those I'm saying them completely straight. But those are legit plots that happen in Riverdale.
Yes,
If
I can concur.
If anybody remembers the Gargoyle King arc in Riverdale.
The pixie sticks, the name of the drug was
Jingle
Jangle.
Jangle. Yep, it was Jingle Jangle. I will never forget because it's so fucking stupid. It will live in my brain forever.
But also caught the latest episode of Game Changer. This one was called One and Done, where it was one of their more tame episodes, but basically they had 3 contestants come in and try to do like more like harder but mundane tasks, like opening a jar of pickles.
Also, side
Shaving
note,
a
but kind of related. Like, I got so confused recently because one of the regular comedians / guests on like the dating shows that I watch is a dude named Jared who is like best friends with another comedian named Zach Justice, who I follow on TikTok, that I eventually found out like did a bunch of these dating show episodes. But they have a podcast called the Dropout Podcast, and I was so confused because I was like, wait, so are they like members of Dropout? And I was like, it doesn't look like they've ever been on Dropout.
No.
I was like, I was just really confused. I was like, huh, like, I thought Dropout was like a whole separate thing. Whatever. Just wanted to throw that out there. I was just very confused.
No, I feel you. But yeah, like one of them was sit on a balloon and make it pop.
That's somebody's fetish.
Yeah, they even address that. They're like, the Dropout ad Dropout app is like $6.99, and it's like, oh, with that it went to $7.99.
Right.
But yeah, also say the alphabet backwards. List all of the Fast and Furious movies in chronological order.
Can I do that? Hold on. Let me see if I can mentally do this. All right. So, Fast and the Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. And then I don't remember the names of the ones after Tokyo Drift. I know Fast 5 is just Fast 5, but I don't know what 4 is. I don't remember what 6 is. I also don't remember what 7 is. I know 8 is Fate of the Furious, and I know it's just Fast 9, Fast X for 10. But yeah, I don't know what 4. I don't know what 4 is.
So here's the list in order.
Okay.
I pulled it up.
Okay.
The Fast and the Furious.
Got
Too
that
Fast, Too Furious.
one. Got that one.
The Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Yep. Okay, got that one.
Then 4 is just called Fast and Furious.
What the fuck? Oh, yeah, because the first one is the. Yeah. Okay. That's why I couldn't get it. Yeah, because 4 was a prequel. Shit, I forgot 4 was a prequel.
Then 5 was Fast 5.
Yep, I got that one.
Fast 6.
It was Fast 6.
It was Fast and Furious 6 is the name of the...
Okay.
It's just called Fast and Furious 6.
God damn it.
But then 7 is Furious 7.
God damn it! Your naming convention is so inconsistent. Fast and the Furious franchise. Yeah, I know 8.
It gets worse.
I know 8 was Fate of the Furious. I got that one.
You want to know what number 9 was called?
What's 9?
F9.
God fucking damn it!
And then you got Fast X.
Yeah, I got Fast X. Damn it, man.
Yeah.
I could have. I watched all these movies, bro, but I don't know.
But anyway, the point of the whole game, like the whole niche, is that you have to do all of these in one try. You just have one shot.
Now, to be fair, I did that. I did my attempt in one shot.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying, like, but, you know.
And also because always with these things, there's a bit of a twist.
Mm-hmm.
The last challenge was for everybody, and it was just to do a bottle flip.
Listen, but that shit is much more difficult than people think it is.
But the twist is whoever The twist is you get the many amount of attempts, as many points as you earned on the show previously. And for everyone that you miss, you lose a point.
Oh shit.
But still one of the more tame episodes, but still entertaining nonetheless. Also, I started watching miniseries on Critical Role going on right now called Age of Umbra. It was to celebrate the launch of their game Daggerheart.
Cool.
Which is their like fantasy game. It's not a D20 system; it's a 2D12 system.
Interesting.
Yeah, and you add the two together to get your number that you're trying to beat the DC. But basically, you get 2 dice. One is hope, and one is fear. And if depending on which one is higher, you get a benefit, or the DM gets a benefit.
Okay.
And it's more complicated than that. And I really like it because it comes with cards to tell you all your abilities. So if you're playing in person, you have the physical cards for your abilities, so you don't have to remember everything.
Oh yeah, cards are a fucking lifesaver in terms of like tabletop RPG tools. 100%.
Yep. Also, if you're a spellcaster, your cards are where your spells are, but it will be at max 3 spells per card. So you don't like have like an infinite amount of spells to choose from. So that's cool. Also, the ranger doesn't suck. But anyway, Age of Umbra, it also part of the way that Daggerheart works is that yes, it is fantasy, but we all know that fantasy is like a wide, broad genre. You could have various different types of fantasy. Like technically Mad Max is kind of fantasy.
Yeah, it's post-apocalyptic fantasy.
And then also, what's that one called? With Aloy as the lead character, the red-haired with the bow and arrow video game.
Shoot, I know what you're talking about. Far Cry?
No.
Oh.
Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. That's technically fantasy.
I always confuse those two. That's why I said Far Cry first. Yeah.
But anyway, so the point is that part of Daggerheart, you choose like your theme for the campaign, and Age of Umbra is actually one of those themes. And this is the main cast of Critical Role playing a game within that theme. But see, here's the thing, is that theme is Matt created it, and it is highly inspired by his COVID obsession, which was the Soulsborne universe.
Oh, so like Elden Ring type stuff from Soft Games.
So it is very dark, scary, brutal, to the fact where I've watched 2 episodes now, and in episode 1 alone there were 2 combats and 1 person nearly died in the prologue.
Oh, this reminds me real quick. I finished Expedition 33, Game of the Year. Also,
nice. I've heard that.
Also, I realize now, because I've watched several videos that I've beat the game, that like if I knew French, I would have seen the plot twist coming a mile away if I knew French. But because I didn't know French, I didn't know shit. And I also got to learn a lot about interesting French art history with Impressionism and shit, because like they incorporate a lot of French, like actual French art history into this. And the interesting thing about this game is there are a bunch of ex-Ubisoft devs that created this studio, and it's a team of only 33 people who made this awesome, complete game that they sold for only $49.99. So fuck you, gaming industry. You don't need to do all these overinflated prices.
Nope. And also one other thing that, because I haven't played it, but I've heard videos talk about it, that you have well-fleshed supporting cast members.
Oh yeah, this is a rare W for the French. You go French.
Anyway, I have one last thing. I told you guys that I was going to do it, and I finally did it. After I was done with Freeren, I needed a new anime for work, so I finally got a Crunchyroll.
Nice.
And can you guess what the first anime that I started watching? I'm only 2 episodes in.
I don't know. Oh, real quick, Brian, I meant to tell you this because I thought it was just really funny considering your history with this particular show. Did you know that Netflix made a live action version of Kakegarui?
Oh yeah, that's right. I saw that.
You know what's even more wild about this, and they did not think this through at all? The 2 characters in the show / manga that are in very slave-like situations they're in like these servant contracts. They're played by black people.
Oh God.
Like they did not
God.
they did not think that shit through, dog.
Nah. But
Insanity.
No, cause like,
right now?
like you know one girl, right, who's like in that indentured servitude thing because of her gambling debt. Like if you watch the show, yeah, she's a black girl. I'm like, why did you make her black, bro? Don't do that. That's the other dude who wasn't gay in the show, but it was like heavily implied. He's just gay now, or no, they turned a lesbian character into a gay dude, and and that was the other slave character, and now it's a black gay. It's just a gay black guy, and I'm just like, bro.
oh God.
No, don't show.
No.
Show. What the fuck? Show.
But anyway, back to good stuff.
Hey, Kakegurui is a good show. Live action
I will
Kakeguru's
tell-
out of pocket though.
I will tell you that this anime just ended, and it has everything to scream a me show, except for the fact that it doesn't have time travel.
Bocchi the Rock. Judging
No.
by your non-reaction, I probably never even heard of Bocchi the Rock. Bocchi the Rock is
No.
definitely a you show.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but once I tell you the title, you will completely understand.
Okay.
Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world.
Oh, that was a good show. That was a good show. That was a good show. I enjoyed that one a lot.
And that also tracks with stuff that I would enjoy, but I haven't watched that.
You haven't
so-
seen that one? I recommended
You
it to you.
haven't seen it?
I recommended it to you when it first started.
I know, but I haven't gotten to it. I haven't
Oh
been able to
man,
watch.
that's crazy. You missing out. That was a
It
good
just
one.
ended. It just ended. Like, its 12th episode came out like a week or two ago.
Yeah, I'm not really keeping up with seasonals like that, but that was one that was recommended to me by Chat, and I watched it because Chat told me to.
It's on.
I've seen the first 2 episodes. I really like it, and
I made my own profile on the communal account so that like I don't fuck with Tony, so I don't end up fucking with Tony's watch list. Because when we used to share his profile, we'd be watching the same shows, and it'd be like, wait, I've already seen this episode, or I haven't seen this episode. What the fuck is happening here?
God
And they're just
damn.
like, God damn it.
But yeah, Tony. A lot of the some of the jokes, not a lot, but some of the jokes that are made in this show remind me of RPM and all their like self-referential humor. Like when he morphs, there's an explosion in the background,
Yep.
and the wizard she's like, "Why is there an explosion?"
It's so fucking good. It's a good show. It is.
It's
and really
this
fun.
this guy, this Red Ranger, he is like the most like anime protagonist. Red Ranger stereotype.
You can say it, Brian. It's a me character.
Yes, he is.
You can say it, Brian. I know you don't want to say it, but you can say it.
Yeah.
Cause
He is, but also he's like your typical shonen lead. Which,
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, so
It's so
it's
good.
really cool,
it is a good one.
and I'm really liking it, and the jokes are really good. Like the he can summon the Megazord all by himself, and she's like, if you can summon it, why don't you summon it all the time?
There are rules for
tries
this.
to-
There are parameters.
He tries to summon it. They're in a cave. It can't get in.
Exactly. It has to. We have to be in an open quarry, bruh. I don't think you understand.
Yeah.
Rules are rules.
Also, in the second episode that I just watched, it's like they do the like big final like Sentai Power Ranger like big fuck you cannon, but he needs the witch and 2 random adventure bullies to help him do it because it's so big and it needs so much power because it runs on friendship.
It does. It runs on.
Because-
it's the greatest.
Because the like Sentai Ranger theme for this group is relationships.
I mean, overall Henshin device, because I know at least some of the context thanks to clips. I haven't seen the show fully outright, but Henshin devices are based off of fucking band-aids, man.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, they are.
It's really funny.
It is, and it's really good, and the like action and comedy are really good. I haven't met like more of the cast yet, but I've met the Red Ranger and the like bodacious wizard chick who
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's another one I
like
watched. that
she's
was-
like got some like almost Power Girl level stuff going on.
Yeah, there was another one I watched from this season that was a chat recommendation. That was like one of those doctor ones. Like where like the MC was like a really good doctor. I'd seen it through clips because this one YouTube short kept popping up of this one clip of like this lizard lady like getting infected with some crazy poison. And so the doc charges her like a crazy amount of money. It's like, wait, you're charging me all this money to chop my arm off? He's like, no, I'm not just chopping your arm off. I'm growing you a new one. And he just does this crazy shit where he amputates her arm, grows her a new arm, like bones and everything, forms the skin. It's like, yeah, that's why I charge you so much, because that cost me a fuck ton of money. Good show. Good show. I really like it. I don't remember what it was called off the top of my head, but it was fun.
But yeah, that's it for me.
All right, cool. And as I said, this segment is always the most notorious long. But to be fair, this is probably going to be a relatively short conversation in terms of like main event stuff. So
Oh yeah.
that's fine.
Mhm.
But yeah, now that that is done, we can move on to the next segment of the podcast before we jump into the main discussion, which is, of course, Trailer Talk. Trailer Talk is a segment of the podcast where our boy Brian here has gathered together six brand new trailers, at least as of the recording of this podcast, and you can find those trailers in a handy-dandy playlist Brian has prepared for you guys in the description. I almost said comment, but description down below. And you can pause this video, watch those trailers for yourself, and then unpause the video, because once you unpause it, through the magic of editing, we will have returned after reacting to those trailers ourselves. So until then, please enjoy this word from our non-existent sponsors. And we're back. Okay, solid batch of trailers here, folks. Only one, and none of them were bad. One of them, which is the first one we're going to talk about, I just didn't give a fuck about, because it was like another kind of like White Lotus-like situation where it was like, oh, these are rich people problems that I don't give a shit about.
Oh yeah.
And it's the waterfront. I don't care. We don't really got to talk about it. I don't care. I don't think either of you care. Do either of you care?
Waterfront. I'm glad to see Melissa Benoist and Topher Grace still getting work, but wish it was in something that I cared about.
Yep.
Who cares about the world of rich white people?
Dealing drugs. I don't care.
They've already talked about rich white people to death.
Yeah.
So they could just cut off with that shit.
They already run our country. We don't need them to run our TV.
To be fair, they were running free since.
I mean, they've always been running our country, but still, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, man.
Anyways.
So Waterfront.
What's what was the next one on the list, Brian? I'm not looking at the playlist.
After Waterfront, it was Sherlock and Daughter.
I'm actually interested in this one.
I'm curious.
Like it has an interesting setup. I mostly just want to know who her mama is. It's probably some rando, as Tony speculated, because there's no way Irene Adler would have just got by getting shanked.
Unless her mom isn't dead.
Yeah. That's all. No, that could be a twist. That could be a twist. You're right.
And it's something that the great detective would be known for.
I mean, he faked his own death.
Well, also,
the only reason why he faked his own death is because
because the author was like, well, shit, people want me to write more Sherlock. Well, fuck, I guess he didn't die at Reichenbach Falls. Surprise.
which
so,
spoiler alert for the Morris Chestnut Watson TV show that's currently going on, but he's back in that.
Oh, what was that? What was that other one we watched with like an older Sherlock, and he had a kid in that? Do you remember that, Brian? We watched another show that was about like an older.
It was called like The Innocents or something.
Yeah.
Like that. But it wasn't like he had a kid. It was like he had 4 adopted kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was called The Innocents.
I think one of them was his actual biological child. If I remember correctly.
Also, just quick side note tangent. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Watson TV show.
I didn't know it existed, so no.
Yeah, it's Morris Chestnut, and it's basically just a medical drama with some Sherlock flavoring.
Okay.
But they're doing interesting casting because Morris Chestnut is Watson.
Okay. Is he still British? Like, does he speak with a... What? All right. Doesn't speak with a British... I mean, I know Morris Chestnut himself is not British, but, like, why is he not speaking with a British accent? Okay.
Randall Park is Moriarty.
All right. Interesting.
And Matt fucking Berry is Sherlock Holmes.
Matt Berry. I don't recognize... Name's not bringing an image of a face to my mind.
Overweight, long-haired guy from What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, huh. Interesting.
But anyway, so back to this one though. In this one, we have Professor Lupin as Sherlock Holmes.
Which that's perfect casting. That is how I imagine Sherlock Holmes to look like. He looks like I've always imagined Sherlock to be tall and lanky, and he does look like he did a lot of drugs in his day. So, like, you know, I approve. and Lupin was always one of my favorite characters.
And I like how he's like my alleged daughter.
Which is how Sherlock would treat things. I also never really saw Sherlock as like the one thing I will give credit to for the dumpster fire that was the Moffat Sherlock series is that I appreciate that, like, the characterization they had for Sherlock was almost asexual. He was like intellisexual, if that makes sense. Like, he was attracted to people that like stimulated him intellectually.
Yeah, and also I did Google it because I was curious. The daughter is probably not Irene Adler kid unless they want a race change because
I mean, they could race change it. You don't know.
the name of the character is Amelia Rojas,
Oh, interesting.
and it's the same actress who played Danny Moonstar in.
Oh, that's cool. I still want to see that movie just because I want to see it. Is it out anywhere? Like, is that available to watch anywhere? Because I want to watch it.
New Mutants?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus? I gotta watch it. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
Because, like, on
Same.
paper, that shit sounds cool as fuck. I'm
Same.
sure it sucks, but, like, I just want
It
to...
actually, from what I saw of it, wasn't that bad.
Oh, interesting. I gotta see it at some
It just
point.
didn't do well with critics.
Because, like, Anya Taylor-Joy is perfect casting for Magic. That shit is crazy good.
Yeah, and what's her name? Arya Stark.
Yeah. Maisie Williams is fucking Ronnie. It was like, and that was like prime time Maisie Williams. Not to say Maisie Williams has fallen off, but like that was like peak Game of Thrones Maisie Williams.
Yeah, but anyway, so the show looks interesting, and depending on if we're able to or not, we might be covering it in the future.
Yeah. All right. So what's up next?
Revival.
Okay, this one I'm excited for a lot because this is one of my favorite horror mystery comics I've read in a long time. I have almost the entire series in trade. I'm only missing the last arc in trade because I picked up the last arc in single issues. But yeah, this series is awesome. It's, as the title implies, a series about revival. Basically, a bunch of people revive and come back to life after dying of various different circumstances. There's obviously a mystery of how the fuck did they come back to life, what is causing this, blah 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 blah. And like, it's a small town murder mystery that does expand into the greater country at large at certain points, but it's really interesting. And I've been hearing about them developing this for years. I didn't know it was like actually here now, and to see that the actress who played Winona Earp in Winona Earp is the lead actress is dope as fuck. I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to see it.
The antagonist preacher is Stephen Ogg.
Yep, fucking Trevor from Grand Theft Auto 5. That's crazy. Like, once
Yeah.
Brian pointed out, I'm like, oh, he actually looks like Trevor. That's crazy.
Yeah. Also, apparently in the supporting cast is CM Punk,
Huh, I didn't even notice.
and playing the dad is the lead dude from Jag.
Oh, that's funny.
But anyway, so we're excited. It's only one episode in. Yet again, this might be one that we cover.
I might check out the first episode at some point in between, because I will say, spoiler alert, we will not have an episode next week because I'm going to a con, so we're going to be skipping next week, so you won't see another episode for 2 weeks.
We have a 1 week backlog, so you might not notice.
Oh yeah, you might not notice because we do have 1 week of backlog, so never mind. You might not even notice. But
Anyway,
at the time you're
it'll
hearing
be
this,
2 weeks for us, so
Yeah.
expect another long screen time.
Yep.
Because that's why ours was so long this time. Anyway, last but not least for the TV shows, Gen V season 2.
All right, this one I'm so hyped. Honestly, I like Gen V more than I like The Boys, because like it's less overtly political, and like it's my problem with The Boys, and this is a shorter rant, I promise. My problem with The Boys is that it's gone so far into parody that it's like circled back to becoming what it's been parodying the whole time. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. They're so over the top with the parody that it becomes a parody.
Oh yeah, indeed.
And I'm kind of sick of it, but I'm still enjoying Gen V.
And we've got the new edition of Principal of Cypher.
Yep.
The Dean Cypher. Which don't know if you recognize that actor.
Nope.
He's been in like New Adventures of Old Christine. He was in Legion.
I only saw one season of Legion, so I don't know all the characters like that.
But the funny thing is about him being in New Adventures of Old Christine, that is now the third person from that show that has gone on to do a superhero project.
Huh.
Because that was like the debut of a certain Clark Gregg.
Oh wow. Huh.
And then the lead was
JLD. Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Elaine.
Who Thunderbolts.
Yep.
And all that.
Yeah,
Now we have him. But here's the funniest thing, though, is you might not recognize his face, but you'll recognize his voice. That was Bruce in Cape Crusader.
Oh shit. Nice.
But anyway, I wonder if since his name is Cypher and he's the dean, is his power that he ciphers the abilities of other people?
Well, that's not what a cipher is. Cipher.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I would say cipher is a language codex. So like, for example, the X-Men
I was
cipher.
thinking of Siphon.
Yeah, the X-Men cipher. His ability is just to be able to translate and understand things.
Yeah, my bad.
Which by the way, is super underrated, and the Krakoa era showed how awesome his power can be because he is actually able to speak to Krakoa, which is why he's like super important. Doug Ramsey is hella underrated. So
when he had his secondary mutation, basically he was able to understand the whole universe.
That's basically a part of his power. It's essentially understanding language, be that biolanguage, sign language, and alien languages.
He also understands binary, computer coding, shit like that as well, because that's also a form of language.
It's all languages.
Yeah,
all languages.
So I imagine that's this guy's power too. I mean, like.
Okay, but yeah, and he's talking about like supremacy.
Yeah, you know.
Also,
True Vought
you
Blue,
notice when they
shit.
showed like all the shining stars, our lead chick was not there.
Yep.
It was 3 white people and the diversity hire.
Pretty much.
Oh God.
Pretty much.
But also she doesn't have like a very like pretty marketable power.
I mean, she doesn't. It is kind of gross. I'm not gonna lie.
Blood manipulation is not that great of an ability when you really think about it.
Yeah.
But she did some interesting things in that trailer.
And I mean,
a dude with truck nuts.
And I mean, remember that like just horrific scene of her like, you know, essentially X-Gene awakening. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, and it looks like she might do it again.
That will always stick in my head, bro. That shit traumatized me, and I didn't go through it.
And it looks like she might do it again based on the trailer.
Yeah.
But also, they are going to not only address the whole elephant in the room, they're making it like a substantial plot point.
It kind of reminds me of you know, the whole Black Panther 2 situation, like because they did set up Baby Magneto as like a big player. Like it seemed like he was gonna be the leader of their group.
I mean, he had the chop for leadership.
Oh yeah. And I mean, he was second in command.
Also,
he was in second in command before Arnie Jr. died. I know he's not Arnie Jr. His name is Patrick, but he looks a lot like his dad.
Once he had the veil taken off of his head, he became like the reluctant leader.
Yep.
But yeah, he was setting up to be it. But also they were setting up his dad to be like father versus son type situation.
Yeah, where he was gonna be on the opposite side, you know, pro Vought. But now that the son is dead, the father is gonna go full on Magneto and look like he's gonna be into some like terrorist activity type shit. I'm gonna burn that school to the ground. Like, I'm excited.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Everything looks great. I'm wrong.
I shouldn't have said Baby Magneto. He's technically Polaris. He's Polaris. He's Polaris. My bad.
Male Polaris. It's male Polaris.
He's just dude Polaris. He's just gender bent Polaris.
But also
hair.
Yeah, no green hair. Sag.
What I like though is that it is escalating in that, but it's still keeping that they are college students. Like that one scene where they use Emma as a ball for beer pong.
Yeah, that was fun.
So they're still keeping to who they are.
I'm just curious to see like what it's gonna be like for the you know, we're just gonna keep using X-Men terminology for the Brotherhood that have now been elevated, like, you know, fucking Kate and her bitch ass, and, you know, Arnie Jr.'s little brother.
Yeah.
who was a fucking dickhead.
And now has the proper haircut to match.
Yeah, he's just baby Homelander now.
Yep.
But yeah.
But to lighten things up, In Your Dream, the Netflix original animated movie.
That looks fun. It looks fun. Like, you know, dream concepts are always like just a fun thing to play with, especially with animation, because you can go ham. And the thing that really got me is that, like, that they're playing with a bunch of different styles for the different dreams to kind of like mimic the chaotic nature of dreams. I think is really cool.
Oh yeah, indeed. And it's got a awesome cast too.
Oh yeah.
They got literal children to play the leads, but the supporting cast. Dad is Simu Liu.
Oh, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Nice.
And mom, ironically enough, is Kristen Melody, aka the mom from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, that's funny. AKA Sophia. No, is it Sophia Falcone?
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, was it Sophia? Yeah, she was Sophia Falcone. I was like, am I getting the wrong Falcone? Cause I was imagining the one from the comics. I'm like, no, she's not that big bitch. And I was like, oh no, she wasn't the big bitch in the Penguin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, apparently rounding out the like world, they're using like actual named voice actors that we know, like Scott Menville, Lisa Freeman,
Nice.
Kalin Goff, and Sungwoo Cho.
Okay, that name I don't recognize.
From Delicious in Dungeon, Senshi.
Oh, Senshi, nice. Oh, speaking of voice acting, I did not mention this in screen time, and I really meant to. I played the demo of Dispatch, which is a game created by Ad Hoc Studios, which is just basically all the Telltale devs that got fired got together and formed a studio. And Dispatch is a, like, for lack of a better word, Telltale style game with like decision based and stuff, where you play as a dispatcher at a superhero call center, basically, and you basically are assigned with the shit team of kind of Suicide Squad-esque, where like they're all villains trying to get a second chance program, and you have to like assign them to do jobs. Like when you guys get emergency calls, it's like, all right, I'll send over this guy to get your cat out of a tree. I'll send over this lady to handle these ruffians at a bar. You know, that, and the third. It's really cool. It's got some big like celebrity voice out in it. Like Jeffrey Wright is your right hand man, who was like a former speedster, but his powers, since he moved 50 times faster than people, he also aged 50 times faster. So even though he's only like 36, he looks like he's like 78.
Damn, dude.
He looks like Black Einstein. It's hilarious.
But I've heard about that before.
And also Laura Bailey's in it, so I was like, oh, well, I already know who I want to romance. If that's a possibility, let's go. Anytime Laura Bailey voices a character, it's always just, yep, that's the one. Because ever since Persona, man, that's just been the case. Except for the one time where she basically played me as a woman, and I was like, no, I'd fuck me. Yeah, no, I'd still do it.
But you know the funny thing? It's funny that you say every time Laura Bailey is there, you choose her to romance. Because it's like become infamous now, where she has a ship in every single campaign.
She just is very likable. I don't know what it is. Rise is my favorite Persona waifu. Point blank. Period. I love Rise. That's my girl, bro. I don't think Laura Bailey was original. Was she original Rise? Tony, do you remember? You played Base 4. Was she original Rise? I know. I know they had replacements. Like I know Sam is a replacement Teddy. Like that, he wasn't original Teddy.
No, Chie's original voice actress wasn't the voice actor got in Gold.
Okay, so Chie was the one that got replaced. It wasn't Rise. Okay, so Rise is still Laura Bailey. Okay, cool. But yeah, like Laura Bailey's in it, and also Laura Bailey's character, she is a kind of Black Cat-esque character, where she's like she's a thief with invisibility powers. Called Invisigirl. She's hot. I like her.
But not the first time that she played a Black Cat character.
Yeah, she played Catwoman in Batman Telltale as well, I believe. Yeah. And I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Which was funny because her husband was Batman.
Right? And I think
that's hilarious.
You were there when I played that on stream, right? That was I was like, I'm pretty sure you were there. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. But yeah. Anytime Laura Bailey's in something, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, dude, let's go. I hope I get to meet her at a con one day.
Oh yeah.
Because she seems really dope.
Meeting
And
people you just respect at cons, like one of my crying achievements in life. Bruce Campbell met at
Nice.
Blizzard World Portland.
Nice.
Nice. And,
Still one of my crying achievements in life.
I'm glad. I can totally see that.
I'm glad I got to meet Peter David, like many years ago, at a con. I think it was like Baltimore. I got to meet him many years ago. And you know, I'm glad for that. I'm happy I got to meet him and thank him before he passed. Rest in peace.
Yeah, indeed. Also, Jay,
Uh-huh.
if you like Laura Bailey, just wait till you meet her Campaign 2 character from the Mighty Nine.
Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah, that unhinged cleric.
Yeah, but anyway, last trailer, but certainly not least, and it's not really a trailer, but we still had to talk about it.
Because it was the most fun. We had to like legit pause all throughout because it was obviously it was like a long ass crawl. It is the Spaceballs announcement trailer, I guess you would call it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spaceballs 2.
The Schwartz Awakens.
Yep.
Oh man, the crawl was really funny. Like just listing all just the pop culture updates throughout the years, the 32 years between Spaceballs and Spaceballs 2.
Also, I told you guys that I was going to tell you, like, the confirmed cast so far. Here it is. You got Daphne Zinga. Probably mispronounced that. Queen Vespa returning.
Okay.
Nice.
Bill Pullman as Lone Star returning.
Nice, of course.
Mel Brooks is coming back as Yogurt.
Fuck yeah! That's what I was looking for.
And dude, coming out of retirement, Rick Moranis as Dark
What?
Helmet.
What? Dark
Let's
Helmet! Oh, he's back! Let's go!
Legend.
He said, "Fuck Ghostbusters, but Spaceballs." I'll do Spaceballs.
Yep. And we know 3 new people.
All right.
Playing a character not yet named Josh Gad.
Nice. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
Playing a character called Destiny, which you know they're probably going to do the Destiny's Calling joke.
That's gotta be the Ray parody, right? That's gotta be the Ray parody.
Kiki Palmer.
Nice. People underestimate how funny Kiki is. Kiki is hilarious.
Yes. And playing a character named Starburst, which keep in mind the Han Solo character was Lone Star.
Yep.
So assuming this is their son, Lewis Pullman.
Huh. You know what? That's Nepo baby nepotism gone right, I guess.
Yep. He's his dad's son playing his dad's son.
Yep.
Perfection. Absolute perfection.
Which we know from Thunderbolts and Top Gun Maverick that he can do comedy.
Yep. Oh man.
Because like him as just normal ass Bob.
I'm actually really glad like that Stephen Yeun didn't get that role because yeah, Lewis Pullman fucking killed it.
Oh yeah, indeed. And just like him as normal ass Bob reacting to everything.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah. So this is actually one like sequel to a long lost thing that I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah, every other one, I'm not gonna lie to you, has disappointed me in some way, shape, or form. But this one I have hope for because, like, I feel like this one doesn't feel like a cash grab because it feels like everybody just wants to do this because they want to have fun. Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
And like,
Absolutely.
if you
make fun of all that shit.
And if you think the cast, like, and if we can tell the cast is having fun, I know we're gonna have fun too. So like, this is gonna be dope. Like, I feel like they genuinely have something to say with this. So like, it's gonna be a good. I think it's gonna be a good time.
I mean, there is a reason why Rick Moranis came out of retirement
for this and not Ghostbusters, which they have to They have to make a joke. They have to, because like everybody was asking. Everybody hounded him about that. It's like, all right, Bill Murray is back. We got everybody. Where are you at, man? It's like, nah, fuck that shit. Nope, no Ghostbusters for me.
But he is coming back as Dark Helmet.
Which, I'm be honest, I still think that's his best role.
Yep, top-notch role.
Although I also did really like him in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids series.
I would also say the same for Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks, best role.
Although now that I'm thinking about it, Rick Moranis in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is kind of like what would happen if you mixed Phil Dunphy with Mr. Fantastic. remake.
Pretty much.
Kind of, yeah.
But anyway, on to a different sci-fi franchise.
Yeah, so now we are here for the main event. In case you guys forgot, it is, of course, Predator, Killer of Killers. So we decided we're gonna do this a little differently. So we're gonna do kind of mini reviews, and then in like the spoiler, in the heavy spoiler section, like in this spoiler section, we're gonna talk about the overarching plot. We're gonna do mini reviews, spoiler-free wise, of each of the different vignettes, and kind of also give you individual scores on the vignettes. And then in the spoiler section, we're gonna talk about it overall, which includes the overarching plot line, and then give our like final score of the movie overall.
Yeah.
So first up, we're gonna be talking about these in order. We are gonna first talk about the first vignette, which is The Shield, which takes place in Viking times. Oh,
Be in the 1860s.
was it 1860s? Wouldn't it be like
It would be the 860s. 860s.
860s. Okay, I was like 1860s feels like way too far.
Yeah, 860s.
Yeah.
I misspoke.
It's all
Added
good.
a 1 in
It's all good. But yeah, what did we end up calling this Predator?
I remember him calling him the big boy.
We called him Ursa Major at first, but then we called him
Ursa Major.
yeah.
then we called him something else later, but I forget what we called him after that.
She named it.
Yeah.
Her and her crew called it the Grendel.
Yeah,
which
the
is a
Grendel
reference-
King. The Grendel King. That's what it is. Grendel King.
No.
it
that
was
was-
no. The Grendel King was the main bad guy. Yeah. So the Grendel was what they called the Predator. So we'll refer to him as the Grendel. This whole vignette is a revenge story and kind of like all about like the cycle of vengeance.
Mhm.
Because our main chick here, I forget her name, to be honest with you. I should have taken more notes.
Ursa.
Her name was Ursa.
Yep.
So Ursa, she was forced to murder her own dad, and
She was from this one guy that
from this like enemy warlord that was like that basically had her dad dead to rights.
Mhm.
And so like she has just this kind of single-minded tunnel vision of I must avenge my father, like total Inigo Montoya type beat. You killed my father, prepared to die.
Her son Anders.
Yep, and her son Anders, who like is trying, like he wants in his heart of hearts to be a warrior, but he has like, and Brian pointed out when we were watching it, he has like major like hiccup energy, because he's like everybody else are these like brawly, brawny, like typical Viking dudes, and he's like a small, like little lanky type guy.
Which was
This is-
funny because he's voiced by Laios
From Delicious Dundon, Dundon Meshi, yep, which is
and
pretty
also
cool.
Lord Kudo, who's like the complete opposite of
Yep.
Anders.
Oh man, did we miss out on covering My Happy Marriage?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because
It's because the finale was on hold for so long.
Yeah, but
and they didn't make like an official
Yeah,
statement.
I would just say I
for when it
never
came out.
learned when the finale came out. So I've been waiting for it this whole time, and I never watched it, like the finale. Damn, shit. I gotta go fucking watch My Happy Marriage. Thanks for the
That's like
reminder. Thanks for the reminder, Brian. I love that show.
Yeah, same.
Anyways, moving on. So eventually they do get to the warlord, and battle ensues, and surprise, Anders ends up killing the enemy warlord because he gets caught, incredible style monologuing.
Yeah, basically
What?
his memory was so this is what from my memory of the whole event was. He was basically saying, "Oh, I don't remember who you are," but after a bit of prompting, like, "Oh, now I remember.
Yeah.
You're a
You're a coward who murdered your own father to save your own skin. Blah, 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 blah. And he just kept going on and on and on.
As that monologue happened, Anders killed that man, but that's when
Yeah, the Grendel showed up and just started fucking tearing through everybody.
which this particular I know there's a proper
Yautja is their species name. Yautja.
the Yaksha for this one built different.
He is like a
Big.
brick house.
He's built like Bane.
we're-
He's built like Bane. It's kind of fucking nuts.
And also with this kind of like kinetic energy repulsor boxing glove hand.
He's got it's like imagine like Bishop's power in like a buckler, where like he can absorb the energy of an attack and just like boom, hit it back at you.
And it has to be powered up too, so there's like a crank on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Which
a really
he-
intense fight. Man, the action animated in this thing is crazy. The amount of decapitations
Ursa-
is ridiculous.
and Ursa is she.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
She-
She's her. She's her for real. She's her for real.
Yeah.
Like in the actual goat.
Nah, she earned MVP status, which we'll talk about in the spoiler section. And I know what you're thinking, but Jay, aren't you already spoiling the plot of these vignettes? Yes, but it's necessary to talk about.
Actually, we haven't like spoiled how the fight with the Predator goes.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you should know how it goes. Otherwise, like the story wouldn't continue.
And I mean, also we haven't addressed the big thing that
Oh
happens.
yeah.
in-
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was getting into in my explanation. You should let me finish my explanation. So what I was saying was, I know what you're thinking, Jay. Aren't you already spoiling the events of these individual vignettes? Yes, dear listener, I am. But it is necessary to cover these events because we need to tell you our ratings and stuff. But also, what we're gonna do is when we get into the spoiler section is actually talk about the overarching plot line where this all connects.
Mm-hmm.
So it is necessary. Thank you for letting me finish my explanation. All right, let's continue. All right. So the fight goes down. The fight goes down. It is fucking wild. And man, like there's a lot of clever usage of like the Predator's known weaknesses here, and obviously none of these like ancient warriors throughout space-time, within Earth know the Predator's weaknesses, but they kind of just stumble into them. And Ursa's use of the Predator weakness is really clever because obviously they're fighting in like Nordic lands, so it's like cold as shit. And how she defeats the Predator is just so fucking sick. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it for yourself. I'm not gonna just describe everything beat for beat, but like it's fucking dope, man. It's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Her primary weapons are two shields, and she uses the fuck out of them. I mean,
oh yeah.
even more deadly than Cap.
I mean, Cap could. Well, to be fair, Cap could be that deadly if he wanted to.
I know.
He chose not to.
Well, also, if you go back and you look,
If you've
At the
seen
Captain America movies.
if you've seen Bucky as Cap, oh boy.
well, also, dude, in the MCU, the Captain America franchise is like the one that has the highest death count.
I mean, yeah. Trash brings that up to me all the time, and I'm like, Trash. Yes, I understand, but Cap does not actually kill people. Cap facilitates circumstances where people may die, but Cap never directly kills people.
Yeah.
Unless completely necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
In the
Because he is a
footsteps-
soldier. People forget that.
I mean, yeah, like and like that's what and again that's something I constantly bring up in my arguments with people who are like, well, Cap and the Punisher are both soldiers, they're just killing bad people. I'm like, yeah, but there's a difference between murdering a Nazi during a war and murdering a random mob boss drug dealer. Yes, they're a bad person, but like that's just plain old murder. You being in a war, that's being in a war.
Yeah, and Origin is associated with Vietnam.
Yeah.
And that
We
guy
all know American soldiers did some real fucked up shit in Vietnam.
Oh, yeah. But anyway,
But yeah, moving on to the next vignette. Probably, in my opinion, for me at least, my favorite of the three is the sword.
Yeah.
Oh man, this one is awesome. It's also kind of a vengeance story, but more like a sibling rivalry vengeance story, because we have like two brothers in the late Sengoku period, like 1600, like raised by what I'm assuming is like a daimyo, because he looks to be of higher station. He's also got the fancy armor and shit.
Yeah. Very much an outbad.
Yeah, and he also just looks pretty badass, and so he's pitting his two sons against each other as one
Highlander style.
as one is to do. And so it's like, whoever wins this will succeed me and lead the clan and in our battles and such. The older brother is a little bit more hesitant because he's more of like a peaceful minded type kid, but like the younger brother really had something to prove. So while the older brother's kind of holding back and a little bit more timid, the younger brother's like going full force, so much to the point where he like leaves a scar on his brother. And you know, before he can go in for the kill, the dad stops and is like, nope, all right, I've seen enough. Shame, you are now banished, eldest son, be gone. And so that leads the older brother down the path of the shinobi. He now becomes a ninja, and like he wants vengeance. Eventually their dad does die of old age, and the younger brother takes over as like, you know, lead samurai, and they end up in a fight. And the other thing is with this vignette that makes it really interesting is there's absolutely no dialogue in it.
Well,
except for towards the end. Like at the very end there's dialogue, but like 95% of that vignette there's no dialogue. And like pretty much the brothers have their like fated duel, and it's really fucking sick. You know, the ninja brother uses all his tools and skills, and of course the samurai brother uses his brute strength and swordsmanship. And the interesting thing about it is, you know, because the Yakuza respect and honor, like, you know, single combat, the Yakuza that is observing these two, who we have come to call the Onryo, because he very much focuses on stealth more so than the others. He's kind of just lurking, watching this combat. It's like, all right, whoever wins is my target.
Yep.
And so like this is the sickest fight out of all the three vignettes, personally. Like,
and dude, the way that it ends, I won't spoil, but fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And like just how the Predator is defeated is anime as fuck. It's anime as fuck, and
It was.
it's so cool. Again, this is the spoiler-free portion, so I'm not like going into full detail. You gotta see it for yourself. This shit is sick. But like, it was amazing. It was amazing. Now, last but certainly not least, probably my second favorite for me personally out of the three vignettes. You know, I'm already telling you guys the order in which I'd rank them pretty much. Is The Bullet, which is set during World War II and stars a, you know, up and coming, like, you know, aspiring ace pilot named Torres, not to be confused with the other Air Force pilot named Torres that everybody knows.
Yeah, when I pointed that out to the guys, they were like, damn.
That is funny. You know, if I had a nickel every time we had a main character who was in the Air Force named Torres that became like central to a plot, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's still weird that it happened twice.
Yep.
But yeah, so Torres is kind of a fuck up, and he's you know, very much the trope of the underestimated soldier. You know, his CO is not taking him seriously. They've kind of just put him on maintenance and mechanic duty. And so
let's be real. There's probably a little bit of racism going on.
I mean, probably, but like not nearly as much, because you can't afford to be racist in a world conflict.
Yeah.
But there's a hotshot who clearly wants to do more than he's like ready for.
Yeah, it's more underestimated, because I never really got, and to the credit of the COs featured in this, I never got any racist undertones there. I didn't really feel any racism there. It was more so, this kid's too big for his britches, more so than a fuck that little brown boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If there was any racism, it wasn't overt.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't actually feel any like racism between him and Vandy, because Vandy had a lot of respect for the kid.
Yeah. Vandy had respect for the kid, just he was being very protective of the kid.
And like Torres is very clever, which is kind of his biggest trait. Like, unlike the other two, which are like, you know, your stereotypical seasoned warriors who clearly have a lot of like inherent innate combat skill, Torres' strength is ingenuity, really, and like perceptiveness, because, you know, being a mechanic, he gets to see all these things going down. He actually sees who we call the Ace, the Predator in this vignette, who is piloting a ship, taking down all these planes, and he's like seeing all their technology. He gets a hold of one of their like harpoon hook thingies and figures out that their technology is responsive to heat, and eventually he just sneaks into a plane and tries to assist, and mostly tries to bail the rest of his team the fuck out of there, because it's just like, you guys, we're not gonna be able to handle this shit. We gotta get the fuck out, get some help.
And they're like, no, we got this.
And then one by one they just get taken out until it's just him and Vandy. And you know, if you've seen Top Gun, you know how this goes. One's got to go to buy time for the other one, and then, you know, Torres gets to have his like heroic ace pilot moment. Overall, this
in a rickety
beat the fuck up, like, you know, World War II plane. But yeah, okay, so overall, let's talk about these vignettes, and like I already kind of talked about where I'd rank them, but I'll go through mine real quick. I would give the Shield like a solid 8.5. I'll go with 8.5. I'll give the Shield an 8.5. I really liked it. Not my favorite. It's probably my least favorite out of the three, which is saying a lot because all of these were amazing. It's my least favorite out of the three because it's kind of basic. It does play into a lot more of the overarching plot, but like if we're just looking at the vignettes, I would say this is just an 8.5. Still great, but like, you know, not quite as good as the other two. The sword, I would give like a damn near 9.5. That shit was like almost perfect. Like that shit was amazing. I would watch a whole movie of that. Like, and that Predator and his use of its technology, all the different fights, the art style. I mean, the art style is basically the same all throughout, but still, how they use the art style, fucking amazing. That shit was a 9.5. And then the bullet. I like the bullet more than the Shield because I got to know more characters in the bullet, and the characters were more flushed out. Now, granted, this is because it's a much more modern time period, but like, you know, I was really rooting for Torres and, you know, and his guys, and he's probably the most likable character out of the trio of protagonists from these vignettes. I would give this one a solid 9. So like my highest ranked one is 9.5 for the sword, 9 for the bullet, and 8.5 for the Shield. So next up we'll go with Tony.
I actually would rank the stories as such: the sword, the Shield, and then the bullet.
Okay.
It's because Torres, he was a bit of a jokester guy, not faulting him, but they really leaned on his comedic timing a little too much in his vignette.
I can understand that.
Not really giving him enough seriousness for him to actually be the protagonist. Not like a Dutch or anything.
Oh,
definitely not.
No, I see what you mean. He does. See, and I so like to like not trying to change your mind, because obviously your shit is set in stone. But to kind of like give you my perspective, I like that because it broke the mold in that in that perspective. You know, he's not what you would expect from a Predator protagonist, and that's why I ranked him a little higher.
Yeah, but for me, it can get a little graining at times.
No, I get that. I get that.
I'm just saying, overall, he's a great character, but the comedic focus for his character can be a bit grating.
Especially in like a serious situation. I feel you. All right, so what's your reasoning for the Shield?
For the Shield, I like the simpleness of that story, but it doesn't have like the major emotional weight that the sword did.
Oh, the sword definitely has the most like emotional stakes for sure. Like I think like that.
Oh yeah.
That definitely one of the reasons why I rank it so high, and just because it was so fucking cool stylistically. All right, Brian.
So mostly agree with Jay. Mostly because I honestly would give the same ratings as Jay. Favorite being the sword. But the one place that we differ is I will say that I think my favorite lead was Ursa.
Okay, interesting.
Fair.
My favorite lead was Ursa, but my favorite story was the sword.
I don't even remember who I said. I said my favorite lead was the ninja, right? Yeah. The ninja's my favorite lead. Ninja's my favorite lead.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that.
I would assume that it would have been Torres.
I like Torres a lot. I do like Torres a lot. He's probably right up there. But the ninja's probably my favorite lead. Before we jump into spoiler territory, let's rank the Predators. So for me, I would go the Onryo, the Predator from the sword. Then I would go the Grendel, the Predator from the Shield. Then I would go with Ace, the Predator from the bullet. Just because the Grendel, the Predator from the Predator from the sword was just so cool. You got to see a lot more of like the kind of honor code of the Predators in action. How it uses technology was a lot more fleshed out than the other two. It's just overall, I think he was the cooler one, and I really like its design. But you want to talk about striking designs? The fucking Grendel. Holy shit, that guy had presence. That's just a cool ass Predator. And then the one we don't really get to see much personality from the pilot Predator, so like it's kind of automatically at the bottom for me.
Also, visually, he's honestly the least least interesting out of the three.
Yeah.
I was telling the guys, I mentioned this, and they agreed that he looked basically just like, I think his name is Gareth from Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Down to the Garrus, that's the thing, Garrus.
Yeah, Garrus.
Down to like the whole eye visor and everything.
Yep. So we'll go down the line and see where everybody else ranks the Predators. We'll go back again. Tony?
I really like the Onryo. It was by far my favorite because of how dangerous and creative it was.
Oh, yeah.
It's, as terms of like overall presence, gotta give it to the Grendel.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like you and me are pretty much lining up.
Because do you want to fight a big-bodied evil motherfucker? No.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
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 I'm not gonna fight that thing. Are you kidding?
No,
I would die.
No, I would die. I would die. I mean, I'd die against any of them, to be honest with you, but I would die faster. I would probably just end myself first. Be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Brian.
I agree across the board. 'Cause
Okay.
the Grendel had presence, but wasn't as creative and like.
Interesting. Like had
Malicious.
more personality. Like the Unreal had like the most personality. I feel because like again you got to see like Tony said its creativity and how it killed, the technology it uses, and like again like it honoring the honor code of I respect the 1v1. I'm gonna let them finish their shit. I'm not just gonna jump in.
Yeah, and the pilot was interesting, but basically he was just Gareth.
Yeah, he was just kind of there.
In terms of personality.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason he's like at the bottom in this ranking.
Which I get what they were going for. Give the least personality Predator
To the
most personality
to the lead with the most personality. Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Yep.
mean, it's not that bad of a way of going about it, but it could have been done a lot better.
Oh yeah, because I think you could have showcased a lot more of the Predator technology with this one than they chose to in the Bullet.
Also, you could really see in the Bullet their influence from other like flying and fighter jets.
It felt very much like you got to see there were a lot of elements of like, oh yeah, this is Top Gun, Independence Day, you've seen this a million times type thing.
This was definitely a Serenity moment.
Yep, leaf in the wind. Yeah. I agree. All right, folks. Well, that is our spoiler-free section. Go watch this movie if you're a Predator fan and you haven't seen it already.
Yes.
What are you doing? You should. It's great. We talked about a lot of the vignettes, but we did not spoil how the kills go, so you'll still get to know all that. And now we're gonna go into the big overarching story, because yes, all these vignettes do connect. That is a slight spoiler, but now you know. So go watch it to see how they all connect. But if you have already seen it, stick around. That has been your spoiler warning. All right.
Before we actually get into it, just want to point out that really shocked us.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were like, hey, this is wrapping up, but we've got like 20 minutes left.
Yeah, and also we were like, oh, that's cool transitions. That's a cool way of doing things. That's smooth.
Not really registering.
Yep, until like the very end, it's like, oh.
To be fair,
Tony caught it first.
Yep.
Yes, anthology films tend to do this all the time. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair.
Tony caught it first. Then I started catching on.
Yep. I was the last to party. But
Which, coincidentally, just kind of how it happens with us a lot of the time.
yeah, I mean, well, it depends. Cause like sometimes I'm very quick on the draw. Like if it's like a mystery and I'm locked in, I'm pretty fucking fast at this shit.
All right, fair.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you that.
And if it comes down to like actors and stuff, I'm usually the one that's first.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to IRL stuff.
For me, when it comes to like storytelling and overall like theming, that's kind of my thing, right?
'Cause,
Like
like-
I can't happening.
Cause I like the thing that I always get is like catching like the subtle Easter eggs that lead you to the plot. And like, oh, I knew it. I knew something was off here. Fuck it. Yeah, I was right. I was right.
That's definitely for me. It's like overall story structure.
Also-
that I touched on too.
you also remembered a bit of the lore before the rest of us.
Yeah, that's also true. Because that does come into play. Like the overarching plot very much plays into the overall lore of the Yautja as a species and like things that have happened in previous Predator movies. So,
And we had a reference to the criminally underrated Adrian Brody Predator.
yeah, because that was a thing that happened there. So what happened now that we're in the spoiled section? All three of our leads were captured and cryogenically frozen and then put onto a Predator ship and then forced into an arena to basically fight each other or get the Amanda Waller special. It's really interesting. I like the banter between all three.
Yeah,
despite the
one
language
of the things
variant.
that was cool, but also kind of fucked up of the Predators is their callers that they had would translate the Predator language to their primary language, but wouldn't allow them to translate the other people's language.
Yep.
Oh, it's smart. Think of it like this. Would you give your enemies
The ability to coordinate. Yeah.
No, I get it.
so they would coordinate to fight? Like this species focuses primarily on honorable battle and the thrill of the hunt. They want these strong individuals to become their prey, right? So hamper coordination and communication between different individuals so they can actually pick out the strongest regardless.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And also like they would value they would kind of see working in teams as like a sign of weakness because you're not relying on individual strength, you're using like team tactics and shit.
Yeah, but also to your thing of fairness, they do give each of them a weapon. Just unfortunately, they make a small mistake with Torres and they're off about a couple decades.
Couple hundred years. Not a couple decades, a couple hundred years. Fuck you talking about, Brian? You don't know your he was in World War II, Brian. It's 1942. That gun was at least the 1800.
You're right. But also that gun was
In
a
Predator.
Predator reference.
Yeah, it was in the original Predator movie.
Nope, not the original.
It was in Predators.
It was in the
Predators,
second one.
yeah, it was in Predators. My bad, Predators. Yeah.
No, Predator 2.
Predator 2? Oh,
The Danny Glover one.
Oh yeah.
interesting.
Which we also saw that gun in Prey as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because it was
Which
it
you
was
never
actually,
know. That movie might actually come back up.
We'll talk about that maybe a little later in the discussion, but yeah, that gun was used in Prey. Like that's where we actually see it used, was in Prey.
Oh yeah.
It was an artifact in Predator 2.
In Predator 2. Yep.
But yeah, so Torres is like, the fuck am I supposed to do with this gun from hundreds of years ago? All right, these are bullets. Which, to be fair, like if Torres had figured out how to use his gun before the other two, he probably would have won. Because let's be real,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
gun beats.
Well,
gun.
he almost got it before he was eaten.
Yeah, fair.
But he survived.
He did survive.
Yep.
And I also do like that, like, you know, Ursa had like a freeze up moment because she saw how young Torres was. It's like, it reminded her of Anders.
And also, we didn't mention this in the non-spoiler section,
Which,
but
you know,
Anders did die.
Which I did on purpose. Because
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna spoil
so
all
now
the plots.
She doesn't want her like quote unquote son to die again.
Our new son, you're under my protection now.
Yeah.
Well, she did call them her boys at the end.
Yeah, which, man, Ursa was the GOAT. She went out like a G.
She fought.
And
Commodus, man, the Emperor Predator, which we refer to as Commodus, he was a badass in his own right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Commodus had like xenomorph tails as a cape.
Yeah, that shit was fucking sick.
Oh yeah.
You want to
Different.
talk about design and presence. We didn't talk about it in the spoiler-free section, of course, because like he's a big spoiler. But best design of the entire movie.
Like he had a bit of all three incorporated in him.
Yeah,
Size of fucking the Grendel.
the finesse of like the Onryo.
Yeah, and well, less we could say about Ace, the better.
Yeah, Ace didn't really have much to contribute, to be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of the style of Ace.
A little bit.
Ace is just the vibes.
Yeah, he's just here for the
Yeah.
vibes. He's just here for the vibes. But yeah. Again, like Torres was kind of like the semi lead, trying to organize everybody. And I also love, because he's from World War II, he had to work with, you know, some Japanese soldiers, like Japanese American soldiers, and obviously he might have spent some time in the Pacific Theater, so he learned a little Japanese, but it was really shitty Japanese.
Yo.
So
He was in the theater.
oh, he was in the Pacific. No, he was in the North Atlantic, wasn't he?
Maybe.
No, he was in the North Atlantic. He wasn't in the Pacific Theater when he fought. He was in the North Atlantic because he flew through France.
That is true. Yeah,
I
that's
was
right.
I was like, France is
bad.
not in the Pacific. I was like, I may be bad at maps and directions, but I'm pretty sure France is not in the Pacific Theater.
Only for him to learn Japanese is if he did time in the Pacific.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
So-
That's what I said. I'm like, he spent time. That's what I said. He mentioned he spent time in the Pacific Theater, but he was not in the Pacific Theater at the time of his battle against Ace.
Oh, all right, fair enough. I'll
Yeah.
give you that.
That's what I was saying.
But yeah, it's just like him trying to corral the three of them.
And
the two of them.
he's like, oh shit, I know Japanese. Ore wa Torres desu. And then he said something about fish, and then like, you know, the fucking, and then the ninja was just looking at him like, he's a fucking fool. This is just an idiot. I don't know what's going on here. But like the ninja got not decapitated, but like dismembered, like he's a fucking Skywalker in a Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah, he got his, but he didn't get like the Luke where it was just the
His
hand. He
hand?
got the whole ass arm.
The whole arm. He got the Shanks special, just entire arm, just lopped off.
The Bucky special too.
Luckily, it wasn't like very much like Shanks. Well, actually, no, Shanks did get his sword arm chopped off. But lucky for the ninja, his sword arm wasn't the one that got chopped off, so he's good. He doesn't have to like
Yep. Also,
learn to be
he
ambidextrous.
he and Torres did get away.
Yep, and which leads to the final scene, which
'Cause we find out
reveals a
that,
few things.
That Ursa is not dead like we thought.
Yep, and also we see another familiar female protagonist just kind of chilling in those cryo tanks. Which is, of course, this movie was directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who may have directed another movie, you know, little tiny film you might be familiar with that also aired on Hulu called Prey. Yeah, she's back. She's in there. Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna get to see, in a possible sequel, we're gonna see her team up with Ursa.
And, you know, the final words of the movie is Commodus rallying his forces and being like, let's go hunting. And I'm like, oh shit, let's go. I want it so bad. I'm not gonna lie. This movie was amazing. This movie was amazing.
Yo, to see Torres and the Shinobi trying to like Guardians of the Galaxy in space on the run.
Right?
While Ursa and the Apache chick are just trying to escape.
I wonder if like Torres is gonna like MacGyver from like spare alien tech they just find around, like a robot arm for the Shinobi. Like that could be cool. There's a lot of fun possibilities, but all right.
Also, I wonder if the Apache chick is not the only like new person that will join them.
Oh yeah,
because we saw like a whole slew of them.
And they've been doing this for like hundreds of years. So
yep.
Random.
And you know, seeing all of those like cryogenically frozen people and all that. You know what that gave me vibes of?
Futurama.
If you remember that one episode of Earth's Mightiest Heroes where we showed what happened to the people who got replaced by Skrulls.
Yeah.
Where Cap led this like hodgepodge team of obscure people.
Yep, I could see that. I could see that as a thing. I would love to see Wolverine involved in this. Wolverine versus Predator is still my favorite fucking Predator comic book crossover. Even though the Spider-Man one is really cool right now.
And if we can't get that, can we at least get Steve Bloom?
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Voice a character?
But yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So, final thoughts and ratings. I will start. I'm gonna give this shit a 9.5. Like, I know that doesn't math with how if you actually just average the scores together, but just overall vibes of the movie, there isn't something that makes it like a perfect movie. There's a lot of great stuff in it, but nothing was like, oh man, this was the best movie ever. I'm gonna remember this for a long time. Like, you know, like your Wickeds or, you know, something else. I gave a 10 out of 10, like Sandman season 1, shit like that. Didn't really match that kind of vibe, but I'm definitely comfortable with a really, really, really good, highly recommended 9.5. Tony, what about you?
Well, I think I want to go with a flat 9. I really enjoy this. There wasn't like that extra oomph to give it the.
You know what? I'm gonna make a change because like you're right. Ace, if they had kept the Predators at the same cool level as the Grendel and as the Onryo, maybe it would deserve a 9.5. But Ace did kind of bring it down. So
the batting average for like.
No, you're right. Yeah, and the movie is called Predator, so the Predator should be a big factor. So yeah, I'm going to make a last minute change and also correct mine to 9, just a flat 9.
Yeah, because think of it like this: the Ace, although a great like antagonist for Torres, he was not just a great Predator.
Yeah, he was just kind of bland as a Predator. Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, you're right. Which also, the Grendel King was great, but we didn't get to see him fight that much.
I mean, what we did get to see of Commodus was fucking sick.
It was, but in the like post anthology, the one that we saw them fight the most was the Predator Sarlacc.
Yeah, that's
creature.
fair. But I mean, dude had aura though, and like that moment of like the let's go hunting, he far and above eclipses Ace. Like, let's not get that twisted.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying that in the like final confrontation that brings the three together, they're mostly just fighting, not even a predator.
Oh yeah,
fair enough. But here's my thing: each of these antagonists, they have to present themselves. Would we watch a movie based on each of these individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the whole interesting thing with an anthology.
Oh yeah, like I would totally watch an entire movie. I already said I would totally watch an entire movie of The Sword. The Shield, I would watch it. I would prefer The Shield as a TV show, to be honest with you, than a movie.
Which we did kind of already get with Twilight of the Gods.
Yeah.
True. And my thing is, I think Ace would get fleshed out more if he had his own film with Torres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thing. There are some aspects of an anthology film that kind of hamper other aspects. Like some stories need a little bit more room to be fleshed out.
Yeah. It didn't get enough time to let us really care as much as the other two.
Absolutely.
Especially because it was at the end of the anthology portion, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it was the third story. Mm-hmm. And since with a lot of anthologies, which includes anthology films' overarching plot, which counts as its own individual story, you get 4 stories overall for this anthology. And the story that was the second to last, being the weakest, you kind of get a lackluster antagonist.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
So Brian,
I agree.
Yeah, so...
Which is why making that comment about, like, the Sarlacc thing is, like, why, in the end, I decided that, I'm gonna do a clean sweep here.
All right.
Unanimous vote again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, is this back-to-back again? Didn't we unanimous last time, if I remember correctly? Brian, you have the scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now, but I do remember that last time we all gave it a 9.5 to Doctor Who.
Yep.
And then before that, the next one that we gave a unanimous vote to was Pokemon Horizons Part 2, where we gave it all a 9.5.
Listen, that show's great. Which, man, I'm watching it in sub on the Japanese side. This shit is crazy.
And then the next one where we were all unanimous was Sakamoto Days.
Nice.
8.5.
But yeah, so definitely, I feel like the Predator Killer of Killers gets the Channel Chaser seal of approval.
Indeed.
Fantastic movie. I really want a sequel. Please give it a sequel.
Please.
I hope it did well enough to warrant a sequel.
I mean, it's already certified fresh, so.
I mean, that doesn't say much. Who really cares about Rotten Tomatoes?
He didn't go into any details, but Dan Trachtenberg in an interview did say that after he does the next Predator movie, the one that's set in the future with the Fanning sister.
Which one? Elle or Dakota?
I can't remember which one.
I hope it's Elle is my favorite out of the two. I think she's not that Dakota
I think
isn't
it
as
is Elle.
talented. Not that Dakota
But
isn't as talented, but I think I've liked more movies that Elle has been in than Dakota.
Yeah, but I think it is Elle, but don't
quote
quote
you.
me on that.
Gotcha.
Where she's playing a Wayland Tani android.
Oh, cool.
Which is going to be interesting.
That is interesting.
Because it's also the first time where the Predator is going to be the like POV main character.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we saw the trailer for it, remember?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
we did. You're right.
But yeah, he did say that after that, he is not done with the Predator franchise.
Nice.
He didn't go into detail, but he just said that he's not done with the franchise just yet.
I mean, with what we saw in that anthology, he clearly has a lot of plans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I almost wonder if the sequel is going to be like more vignettes and then a overarching story that brings in the old characters with the new.
I could see that, and like honestly, like because it's kind. I think it's also going to be kind of like DCU in a way, and the reason I say that is because the characters are very much modeled after the actors. It could easily transition into live action if they wanted to.
Oh, yeah. The only thing is the Torres actor is like, I think he's a little bit older than the character, but
Makeup, bro.
Yep.
I was gonna say, like that shit is sorcery.
Also,
especially Hollywood.
have you
makeup.
seen him in Arrow? Dude does not age.
No, he doesn't.
No.
But yeah, so overall, great movie. Now, Brian, why don't you tell the lovely folks at home what we will be covering next time they hear from us on the Channel Searchers podcast?
Well, it's a little bit of a, like, we sometimes do this, especially with, like, TV shows. It's like, we'll do something and have something planned, but have a backup. And our next episode is going to be, if we can get through all 8 episodes in time, Sherlock and Daughter. But if we don't have that time,
We'll be covering Old Guard
2.
2. Hell yeah. Which I'm looking forward to both of those either way.
Same.
But yeah, so it's either going to be Sherlock and Daughter or Old Guard 2. And I believe you said Sherlock and Daughter is going to be on Netflix. For anybody who wants to keep
Max.
up with the podcast. Okay, Max. So for anybody who wants to keep up with the podcast and watch along with us, it'll be on Max. And then Old Guard 2 is obviously a Netflix movie, so Netflix.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. We will be back in a couple weeks for a brand new episode of the podcast. Until then, stay safe, hide your heat signature if need be. Until then, we'll catch you later. Peace.